call this meeting of the Baker County Board of County Commissioners to order. If you have any noise-making device or anything that would interrupt the meeting, I ask that you turn it in airplane mode or turn it off so it don't distract from the business at hand here today. If you want to speak, you can fill out a speaker card there on the back table, and we will have you speak at an appropriate time. Appreciate you all being here. We'll move through the agenda and conduct business appropriately. I asked Brother Jamie Hodges if he'll come up and lead us in invocation and prayer. And pledge.
All right, let's pray. Dear most righteous Heavenly Father, God, we thank you for this day. Lord, we thank you that we were born in this country, in this state, and in this county. Lord, we just ask for your blessing of wisdom, God, on these leaders, God, as they make decisions. Lord, give them godly wisdom that they need to make the right decision and to do the right thing always, Lord. Lord, bless us, continue to keep us all safe and healthy. It's in Jesus' name we pray these things. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Elected officials. So I only see the sheriff, and he's not commenting right now. So, public comments. I have one speaker card. Mr. Curtis.
Mr. Chairman, we need to approve the agenda first.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign.
Mr. Chairman, we do have one change to the agenda itself, just a reorganization, if that's okay with the board. Our emergency management update that's listed under number 1 under prior business, if we could move that to before item number 6. Under new business, excuse me.
So
We have-
one more time.
Item number 1 under prior business,
Okay.
move to the new number 6 under new business.
Okay. You need a new motion?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda, moving prior business, item number 1, under new business, item number 6.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to amend the agenda. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Now we're down to public comments. Mr. Curtis, please.
How you doing? Thank you for your time. I wanted to address the commission, and I know you have no real power over the control of the sheriff's office, but you do control purse strings. About these speed limit cameras that we have. I don't know if you're aware, but Judge DeLuca in Broward County has ruled that the system that this operates on is unconstitutional, violates the 14th Amendment due process, and that in continuing to operate these cameras places the county at the risk of a lawsuit for the violation of civil rights. And until they can come up with a system that actually identifies the driver and not the vehicle owner, then this will remain unconstitutional, and you place the county at jeopardy of a lawsuit to operate these cameras. And I know that's the sheriff's call, but possibly take away the funding for the program or whatever, but it needs to be addressed, because when one person's rights are violated, everyone's rights are violated, and it needs to be addressed. That's what I have to say. Thank you for your
Okay.
time.
Thank you for coming forward.
So I know, correct me if I'm wrong, I know that a lot of this code coordination between the board there too, because we have the ordinance for that, correct?
Yes, sir. Allowing them to camera.
Allowing them to operate in school zones.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
6.0083.
Excuse me?
The statute is 316.0083, and it violates 314.16, I believe.
Okay.
But Judge DeLuca addressed this very issue and saying it violates the due process because the registered owner is being cited. But that may not be the driver. That's like, I mean, if the cops want to control speeding, they should get out and do it the right way, the hard way, and patrol the streets, not sit in the office at the sheriff's office and rubber stamp a camera ticket, send it to the registered owner's home. It is a violation. They don't know who's driving the car. You can't sit in an office and send out a ticket to someone when you don't know if they actually committed the crime or the offense. And this is a violation and it needs to be addressed.
Okay.
The Judge DeLuca ruled on March 3rd this year. Look it up, Broward County Judge Stephen P. DeLuca. Don't
Okay.
get my word.
Thanks for your comment. Any other comments from the board?
Mr. Chairman, this is only an observation, more of a question, but if you were to flip that invoice, that ticket over, I believe that there's a section on the back of that ticket that says that if you're not the driver of this vehicle.
Yes, you have to prove you weren't the driver. You have to submit the name, the address, the driver's license number, if possible, of the driver. You have to prove someone else was driving. You shift the burden of proof from the state to the defendant. That goes against the very basics of our law of presumption of guilt. It says in the law that the registered owner is presumed to be the driver. We don't operate on the presumption of guilt, but the presumption of innocence. So, again, it's a violation. The judge ruled it. Like I said, don't take my word for it. Read his ruling, 21-page ruling.
Thank you.
And just so we place this in context, that was dealing with a red light camera, not with the speed camera.
It was a red light camera, but it's the same system. They take a picture of the tag, they send it to the registered owner. The speed limit cameras do the exact same thing. It's the exact same violation. You can't work your way around it.
I'm not,
It's a violation of civil rights, and we should not operate that way.
You want me to address that, Commissioner?
Please. Introduce yourself, please.
In substance,
Mr. Cruz, introduce yourself, please.
I'm the Sheriff Randy Cruz. In substance, I understand exactly what he's saying. And to a point, you can infer that, right? But we've done the same research, and there's been plenty challenges to this law that have went to the Supreme Court. What we're doing is following the law. Now, in his assessment, what you have, based on his view, is a disagreement between the legislative branch and the judicial branch, not the executive branch. The sheriff is the executive branch. We enforce the laws as they are written, which is interpreted by lawyers, okay? So we're not doing anything to violate anybody's rights. The judge and now the legislature, if there's a disagreement on how that law is written, they have to get together and determine that. I do know that there's already appeal filed in this case, and there's an expectation that that will be cleared up quickly because it affects the whole state.
Yeah.
And I can assure you and everybody else in this room that this agency won't do anything to violate anybody's rights, right? And so just based on some of the things that's come out of that, but I will also say that when we went through this process and we started the ordinance and discussions with the commissioners at the time, one of the discussions that the sheriff and I had with Commissioner Bennett was, first and foremost, is not to rehash the old stuff, but you were talking about 1,434 violations per day in school zones. Per day. Many of those were well over the 16 plus, which was excessive, way excessive. Today, we're averaging 50 per day. 1434 to 50 is where we're at. Based on just that alone, we in an agreement with Commissioner Bennett at the time, would be to reassess it after the first school year. We're in the reassessment phase just based on how well it has created driver change. Okay? So the system works, because when you talk about that kind of discrepancy when in the speeding, we've done slow your roll, we put out all kind of requests from the sheriff's office, through the media, through our Facebook page about slowing down. We used our speed trailers to measure these issues. And at some point, the sheriff is also responsible for the other side of that, the safety of the well-being of the people who travel our streets. And so we understand there has to be a balance. We will always err on the side of the citizen, always. And at what point there's a determination made that an appellate court says that they're not valid, or there's a violation of rights, then we will definitely adjust accordingly. But to one point I want to make before I sit down, because he talks about identifying the driver. It's converted to a civil, which is very important in how you interpret the situation. It's converted to a civil infraction. So if the city of McClenny or the county had spots up and down the road that was marked for parking, and you could only park for a certain amount of time, or it was no parking, and somebody went and parked the vehicle there, and then you don't know who parked it there, but the officer comes up, slaps a ticket on it, goes on about his business. It's the person that owns the vehicle that's getting the ticket. It's the same concept, because you don't sit there and wait for the driver to come back out, because it could be anybody that parked that car there. It's the same concept. So I'm not having any derogatory differences with Mr. Cruz. We don't like him either, to be quite honest with you, and did not want to have to go that route. We were forced to. When you got 1,434 people speeding through our schools every single day, and a lot of them are excessive, our job is to make sure that that gets taken care of. And we've done that because we're down to 50. Okay, so we will complete our reassessment over the next month or so, and then we'll make a determination of whether that's even necessary to continue. But it won't be based on what a judge in Broward says, right? It'll be based on what we do up here. But we're well within the law, and we're not violating anybody's rights.
Thank you for your comments.
That's what he said.
Sure.
He should sell used cars. But just because
He needs to come to the mic.
We're not
If he's
having
going
personal
to do this.
attacks on
Well,
anybody.
I'm
That's-
sorry, it's not, he's very good, I'm just saying, he's very good at what he's doing, he's good.
No.
But because something works doesn't make it right.
Okay. I appreciate your
Being
comments.
converted to a civil infraction is true unless you don't pay. And then you run the risk of driver's license suspension, tag suspension, and a much higher fine. And if you challenge the law, you're looking at a $200 fine, plus court costs, plus points on your license, if you lose.
I appreciate your comments. That's the only speaker card that we have at this time. If you fill out a speaker card and you get it to one of the ladies here at the end, Miss Kayla or Miss Sarah, they will get it to me and we will address it at an appropriate time. So we're moving on to consent agenda items.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda, consent agenda items. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Moving on to new business. Proclamation Children Abuse Prevention Partnership for Strong Families.
Good evening, Commissioners.
Good evening.
So I'm not sure how you do it, but typically you guys read
If
it,
you-
correct?
If you will introduce yourself.
My name is Amanda Demaria, and I'm with Partnership for Strong Families.
Okay. Ms. Little?
Had to get my glasses on, I'm
You want me to
sorry.
read it, or?
Do you want the full proclamation read, Mr. Chairman?
I can read it if that is the pleasure of the board.
Please.
A proclamation entitled, which states, whereas prevention is possible. With the right policies and investments, families and children can thrive and avoid contact with child welfare. And whereas every family and child is filled with tremendous promise, and we all have a collective responsibility to prevent child abuse and foster the potential of every child and promote a positive childhood. And whereas families who receive the support they need before a crisis occurs are better equipped to provide safe, healthy, and nurturing environments, leading to children who are safer, healthier, and more hopeful about their futures. And whereas childhood trauma, including abuse and neglect, can have long-term psychological, emotional, and physical effects throughout an individual's lifetime and impact future generations. And whereas effective child abuse prevention activities succeed because of the partnerships created between child welfare professionals, education, health, community, and faith-based organizations, businesses, law enforcement agencies, and families. And whereas communities must make every effort to promote programs and activities that create strong and thriving children and families. And whereas we acknowledge that we must work together as a community to increase awareness about child abuse and contribute to promoting the social and emotional well-being of children and families in a safe, stable, and nurturing environment. And whereas prevention remains the best defense for our children and families. Now, therefore, the Baker County Board of County Commissioners does hereby proclaim April 26th as Child Abuse Prevention Month in Baker County and urges all citizens to recognize this month by dedicating ourselves to the task of improving the quality of life for all children and families. Together, we can create a community where every child can grow up happy, healthy, and safe with hope for their future. That is the proclamation, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the proclamation as read. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Proclamation's approved.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to share a few things with you guys. So 39. 39 is the number of children from Baker County that are currently in foster care. And our goal at Partnership for Strong Families, yes, we administer the foster care system, but our goal is that no child ever enters foster care. And prevention is possible. And it is possible through community. It is possible through working with the education and providing quality education to all students. It is possible through Little Leagues and developing a community. It is possible through the churches and the other organizations that wrap around a family and support them in those times of crisis. And it is possible because of the support of all the county commissioners. So thank you for allowing us to come and for proclaiming April as Child Abuse Prevention Month.
Thank you very much.
And I brought some newsletters for you guys as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, moving on to item number 2, approval of financial terms, solid waste trucks. Ms. Sarah Little.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So as you all may recall, we did talk about the need for adding a new roll-off truck to the solid waste department through this past year's budget workshop process. We were able to do that. The decision of the board at the time was to actually finance that vehicle for a term of 5 years. We did budget $60,000 for the annual cost on those payments. So presented before you all tonight was staff did shop some loans to see what the best rate that we could get for the purchase of that vehicle would be. So in total, the purchase of the truck totals $231,394. Again, we did seek financing terms for the next 5 years. The low quote that we received was from First Federal, which is the county's bank, and Mr. Jamie Hodges is here also to answer any questions if you have any regarding this loan. Again, the rate was 5.89% fixed. The total annual payment would be $53,544, which is within budget. And we are requesting that the board move forward with the loan as presented. Can answer any questions if you have any.
Any comments from the board?
Make a motion, we approve the loan.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the loan. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Hodges.
Do we know when that truck will be ready?
I believe it's ready almost any day now, yeah.
I think it's sitting on the site now.
Yeah, the
Okay.
information that we have is it's very soon to be ready for pickup.
Okay, thank you.
Number 4 is a subject near and dear to my heart, the Sanderson Community Center. Mr. Moore?
Nina, Doug Moore, 13538 Brent's Way, Glen St. Mary. But we like to think of ourselves out there, South Sanderson.
There you go.
Okay, for the benefit of our newest commissioner, he hadn't been through some of this process with us that started all the way to last spring. It's been the biggest little project I ever did. But I requested from the commission at that time to acquire plans by a commercial architect for an addition to for an ADA bathroom, so we would be approved to rent the center, and also it is my voting precinct, along with everybody else out there, and is used by the health department. I found out right quick it's hard for a small job to acquire a commercial architect. I finally found a retired one, 85 years old, got in the middle of the project. He had a serious illness and ended up in Brooks Rehab for a while, so our project stalled all last summer. But then we finally acquired plans, approved plans for, and I combined this project. I wanted to do Jones Grocery now, so in order to make this attractive to a contractor and to a commercial architect, I kind of combined the projects where we could try to do them at the same time for cost savings. And the commission approved a bid for the ADA bathroom, which the way it was constructed a long time ago, it just had to be a complete addition to the existing building, and also to replace the windows there. So all of that is done now. One more part of it was repairing the existing doors and replacing the locks. A lot of cost on it. It had to have a lift station on it, and I had trouble getting 3 bidders for that. Finally got it done, and my wife is also an underground utility contractor, and I talked to the contractor, really didn't want to do the job, so he says, you do it, which meant I did it. So we're going to be able to save quite a bit of money there, and I want to take the savings, less my cost in that project, and turn it back into some other improvements. If that's okay with the commission. Some unexpected repairs were run into. Anytime, as y'all probably well know, you get into working on an old building, you get a lot of surprises along the way. We got ready to do some electrical in it, and the electrician says, I got no way to get in the attic. Somebody sealed the scuttle hole up in the attic, so we had to take care of that. And then I noticed a tree was growing into the building. It's been quite some time, and it had the mast and the meter can pushed over. So I actually had to have the service cut off and I got an electrician to come in and do those repairs, of which I'll be able to take care of. I got some quotes on it, and it was $2,000, most of the quotes, not counting the electrical. So I had the equipment, so I did it myself. What is needed out there that's not in that quote, but I'll have some money left over in the savings I wanna plot and put back into the center. There needs to be some outside lighting. We had a meeting there this last Tuesday, and it's dark outside. So we definitely need some outside lighting. The trim is badly needed and painting. It needs to go ahead and have some mini blinds to keep it cooler in there keep the sun from coming in. And if I had a wish list on this project, I'd also like at some time to have a small little pavilion there with a grill. And I have a stainless grill we've made it. I could put there. So a lot of the families there are low-income families, and they don't have much of a yard or much of a room. So when they have a little family reunion or gathering, this would give them a good place to go. Another thing, we really need to look into at some point correcting the deed in it, because the commissioner's brother, if you look at it, owns the corner of the building. So the line is off on there, and it's no problem, but it's something that probably ought to be some attention paid to at some point. Before we started this project, there was a new well had to be put in. So that one is exposed to the weather now, and the old pump house is in real bad shape. And at some point, that needs to be taken care of. And with the anticipated use that we're probably going to see out of it now, I'm going to suggest that we have some kind of a management plan. I went in there Tuesday to get ready for a meeting I was going to have in the morning, and there was garbage left by somebody there that the dogs had been in, that I cleaned up and took to the dump. So there needs to be some way to monitor this, plus issues just like the tree. Somebody needs to be responsible. That's something that could have been taken care of for nearly nothing that cost several $1,000s.
Yep.
So what I'm going to suggest is that we have like a 5-member advisory committee from the community that can kind of monitor the use. I've got one lady willing, lives just a couple of houses down, says she'll keep an eye on it when things is not taken care of, then she'll alert the people to take care of it. And we kind of keep up with the building maintenance so things don't get behind, and that we report to the district commissioner, which is our chairman, and to the county manager on any of these projects, and that we have access to the income and expenses to help the center be totally self-supported, because that's my goal, is for this not to cost. It's our community center, shouldn't cost the other taxpayers any money. Any questions?
Any comments from the board? Personally, I really appreciate all that you've done to get us to where we are. It's a usable building again, and we've come a long way. The doors were basically open anytime you wanted to. The windows were poor quality. The bathrooms were antiquated at best, and now it's a usable facility again. I agree with you, Mr. Moore, that there's still things to be done. I'll work with Sarah a little,
Okay.
and we'll work with the board, and we'll see what we can get implemented for long-term
But
solutions.
somebody needs that direct response. I'm by there all the time. There's other people in the
Yeah.
community that's very concerned that everything is kept up, and when somebody's rented it, it's ready to go, and they won't be disappointed or have any issues to come back to to the county for.
It's an important building in the Sanderson area for all the people that out there, they understand. Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I think too, we need to look at some issues with parking, maybe some improvement there also. When I drove a week ago to look at the bathroom and stuff, and the gazebo, if you could check and see where we could get our funding for that, I think that's an important thing to add. Because then they would have a place to grill or whatever they need to.
Yeah.
With some kind of outside water source of
Okay.
some sort, I would think. So,
Yes, sir, I can do that.
okay. Thank you.
Mr. Moore, I appreciate everything you've done out there. You've done a lot of work. I know tonight we're talking about the rental fee update proposal, correct?
Right.
I suggest that we, as far as the board that you mentioned, we get with staff and try to come up with something and then present it back to the board as far as if anybody's going to do anything of that nature and it trying to be self-sufficient. I like the idea, but present it to staff and they can come up with something and then present it back to us.
Certainly.
But as far as tonight, how do these numbers correlate to what we just approved last week with the Ag Center?
So, the Sanderson Center is a little difficult because of its unique setup, right? So there's not a lot of comparison facilities that we had to that. The current rate, you can see at the top of your table there, is $125. I have been employed with the county for 21 years, and that rate has not changed except for when the tax rate has changed. So when we looked at it, we wanted to try to keep it in comparison to the increase to the Ag Center, but keeping in mind its use as well. And so we only proposed a $50 increase. For a private event, it would go from $125 to $175. Commercial event from $150 to $225.
Are these new rates at the bottom down here the ones we agreed on last week?
The very last table is what you all agreed on for the Ag Center last commission meeting. So you guys would only
Okay.
want to be considering this top table.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So, and then the church events would remain at $50, and then the refundable deposit of $150 we felt was still fair. So like I said, just a slight increase, from, most of our events are there at private events, family, birthday
Sure.
party, family reunions, those types of things. Commercial events are very few and far between. So we felt a $50 increase was sufficient for, the increase in, the services with the addition of the restroom, and then, just keeping in line, but affordable for people to be able to use that.
Okay.
Any more comments from the board?
So my question, who has been in charge of the maintenance up until now? No one?
So the county maintenance department is over it, but I will tell you there's very few dollars that were budgeted for that building in previous years. Yes, sir.
And so now, again, thank you. I echo that, Mr. Moore. Thank you for all that you've done. So you come together. We find 5 people to be on this committee. Are we wanting those 5 people to mow the grass and to mop the floors and all? I mean, that sounds like a lot to put on 5 people that should just be in an advisement.
We can take care of it. The community will take care of it. There's not a lot of grass to mow there. It's the big oak trees, it's shaded. There's basically not hardly any grass.
Well, when it's time to take down a piece of the oak tree or clean up a piece of the oak tree that fell down, that's my concern is, do we want to burden these 5
Well,
with that?
this little advisory committee, if y'all so desire to do it, we're there, it's our community, we see what's happening and we know the needs. We bring those needs to the county manager and to the according to my plan, to the district commissioner, and then they could take it to the board or whatever. If it's something major, if it's something this not much of an issue at all, we can make that disappear.
I think we can work out the finer points of how it's managed. I think we've come a long ways. Mr. Moore has donated an enormous amount of time and materials and called favors from other people to get us to where we are today. So he's very credible in what he's telling you he will do and he can get done. So I think we just need to evaluate it as best we can and move forward
Yeah.
would have planned to maintain the building that we hadn't had in the
After
past.
this, after we get through here, that won't be much of an issue at all. I see no major issues.
Well, and I realized that question was a little off scope of the question that's at hand. But where I was going with that is are we going to need to pay a landscaper or somebody out of that money? Does that money need to account for that, for the maintenance and things? And it sounds like you're saying no, that the maintenance will be already handled.
No.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted it to be covered now if it needed to be.
It's getting far more maintenance now than it's had in the last 15 years.
And it is on our lawn service contract. We do have a contract with a
Yeah.
company, and that is one of the facilities that we pay to have lawn service done. Like Mr.
And
Moore
I
said, there's
don't-
very little grass
I
there.
don't know what
Yeah.
we're paying for then. Because there's limbs and stuff that I
Yeah.
picked up and threw in the woods. And
Yeah.
Yep.
there hadn't been a lawnmower there in a long time. So if we're paying somebody, we need to cancel that.
And just for disclosure, the corner that he's talking about is on somebody else's property, is on my brother's property. So just so everybody
It's
understands.
just one of them errors that's probably way back that
Yes.
it just cuts
It
the
is.
corner of the building.
That tree that you took down actually was not on our property. It was on the other Mr. Mann's property, yeah.
I made sure we did all the work on ours.
There you go, there you go. Yeah, I think he owns a fourth of that building, actually, if you read the deed correctly, yeah.
It's maybe about six feet of the corner.
There you go.
All right, well, I'll make a motion to approve the proposed rates.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the proposed rates for the Sanderson Center. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion carries.
All right, very
Thank you,
much.
Mr. Moore.
Thank you.
Item number 4, CDBG revised applicant list. Mr. Neighbors?
Evening. I won't be very long, keep much of your time up. We've already approved homeowners 1 through 6. We did that at the meeting before last. Miss Zola Norman has been, we'd like to remove her from the list. She's actually being assisted through Rebuild Florida. So she's got other grant services that are going to help her. With that being said, we skip down to the next qualified applicant, which is number 7 applicant, which is Carolyn Curry. And we'd like to approve her to the homeowner list and replace the Zola Norman.
Any comments from the board?
Is this there's two things we gotta do tonight, correct?
Yes.
Making the amendment
Homeowner
here
first.
for the homeowner? I'll make a motion to approve, remove and replace
Right.
as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to remove and replace applicants as presented. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign.
And the last thing I have is we have another contractor that has submitted a qualification package to also bid on the program, and that is Certified Roofing and Construction. They're out of Alachua, Florida. I actually do work with them in Hamilton County. They meet all the requirements of the Baker County Housing Assistance Plan. I'd like to approve them for inclusion into the program.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Novers, how many are from Baker County that's actually on this list?
3,
3 out of?
6. This will be 6.
This will be the 6th one, so, and he's not from here, correct?
Correct.
Alachua. So 3 of the 6 are local contractors.
Correct.
Okay. Make a motion to approve the contractor addition to the list.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the additional contractor to the list. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign.
Now, I will add, if you do know of a contractor here local that wants to get on the list, tell them to give me a call or get in touch with Sarah or Lydia. And I'll send them a qualification package and we can get them on the list just as long as they're on the list before we put them out to bid.
Which is?
Which will probably be middle of May.
Sure.
So, I mean, we got a few meetings that we can get them approved under, so.
No, I'll definitely encourage it. I mean, I'm trying to keep local monies in
Absolutely.
local businesses, so
Yep.
definitely a good thing if more local contractors get on that list.
Sounds good.
Okay, thank you.
That's all I have.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Moving on to the new number 6, Dennis Schmidt and John Blanchard.
We added
Which one
these
are we
before
doing?
you guys. FEMA / emergency management update, we're gonna do first, since he's, no, we're gonna do that before, so that he can, he's got visitors with him here, that way they don't have to sit through the others.
Chairman, thank you, Commissioners, for the opportunity to be in front of you to give you an update. I will tell you that the FEMA update will be very brief. The FEMA is not moving and is still shut down. We don't have access to their folks, to their website. They don't have access to their website. But the good news is it's given us a little bit of a lull on the county side for us to really start doing some work on our side. So we've been very productive in better preparing and positioning ourselves for when FEMA does open back up, to hopefully then speed up the process and move forward. And on the FEMA specifically projects, I'd be happy to take any questions that you may have.
How are we looking on the boat ramp? Where are we at on that?
So
I'll go ahead and ask it.
So we're making not only good progress, we are anticipating within the next week or so what we'll call the initial design plan to bring before the board for review. So we met with county staff and the contractor, looked at a couple of different options and went back and forth, and we've got it narrowed down to the concept. And so we should see a design concept in print and ready for the board to give us feedback, hopefully within the next couple of weeks.
So hopefully by the April 7th meeting, because I think we got three weeks between meetings now. So hopefully by the April 7th meeting, we'll have a design presented to the board for approval, and then
And so already happening in the background is the initial steps in the permitting. The Corps are already involved, and again, we've had those permitting agencies kind of working in the background all along.
Yes.
There came a certain point where they needed a design approved in order to be able to push that permitting on forward. So that's right where we are.
Okay.
And we're not anticipating at this juncture, it looks like from everything we've received from the agencies, the regulatory agencies, we're not anticipating any significant issues on the permitting for the moment.
Great. But just to be clear, so this, because FEMA shut down, does not slow this project down one bit. It's already been obligated the whole 9 yards, and it's our responsibility to go in and get it fixed. And then we were anticipating getting reimbursed afterwards anyways. If the money got here before then, great. But if not, we're still pushing forward with this project.
You are correct, sir.
Okay.
It's 100% on for the contractor and the county to move forward.
Just had to say it. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Without a question on it, I will share that we are working forward. I think maybe today we got the notice to proceed for Schultz Park. The first, the board recommended doing that in 2 stages. And so we'll be meeting with them hopefully next week to start moving forward on that. And with the Turner Cemetery Bridge, we have met with the contractor and engineers, and we're putting together a very strong, what we believe, and it feels to our professional contractor says between 50% and 95% of having the most positive outcome for the county. But we are definitely making progress behind the scenes and taking advantage of the downtime to really strengthen the county's position and the county's case to put before the CRC at the next opportunity when FEMA's back up and running.
Okay. While you're here, Sarah, do we have any, I know we were looking at the limb debris contract.
Yes, sir.
Will that be on the next meeting, we think?
No, sir, it is advertised though, so
It
it'll
is-
go,
it is out for
yeah, so
advertising
it'll
now.
go through the advertisement process. It won't come before you all until we have a proposal to present to you all.
Okay.
Yep,
good.
it'll go through the evaluation process, and it'll be presented back to you guys what the recommendation is.
Okay, that's a step in the right direction, so we want to make sure. Could you elaborate on that a little bit?
Would anticipate getting that done prior to the storm season this year, do we hope?
Oh, absolutely, yeah, I mean, it's advertised, it goes through, once it goes through the advertisement process and review, look for about 6 weeks, start to finish, just on that part, but absolutely, yeah. Yeah, it was sent out.
Okay, good.
Just to clarify, to 23A, the speed limit's been changed, the DOT required it to be changed, the repairs have to be made. It was obligated by FEMA, so now it's up to the county to come up with a funding plan to do that project. Is that correct?
And I understand after talking with Chris, after you and I talked before the meeting, that Sarah's actually come up with a plan, just wasn't aware of it yet. FEMA's portion again is $141,000. I think the county has secured the necessary funds to get that project moving. And again, the timeframes don't change, so even though FEMA doesn't have the lion's share of the reimbursement on that, the time schedule's still in the same reporting and documentations.
So the board will be seeing a funding plan in the near future.
Yes, sir. It's actually part of, Ms. Brooklyn will be here at your next commission meeting to talk about budget amendments for you all. So it doesn't require an amendment. There is funding available in the current budget to support that. We just want to make that part of the presentation so you guys understand where that is. Because it is part of the reconciliation that Brooklyn had to go through.
Okay. Any more comments from the board, questions?
So with no more FEMA projects, I'd like to give the county an update, the board an update, and the county, in fact, of all the other stuff that's still going on through emergency management. And the first thing I'd like to reference is, and we got a video here today produced by our project champion, Shira Callahan, who's here in the group. This is a product of our long-term recovery and resiliency committee that we brought in here with FEMA. And I'd like to invite all the commissioners and your families to come and participate in this event. But if we could show the video, I think Shira's done a fantastic job of putting this together.
Clint, you can go ahead. Yeah, give it just a second. I'm sure he's working on it.
Can we pause it and then restart it with sound, please?
Clint, can you pause and restart with sound if possible? There we go.
In the heart of Northeast Florida, where longleaf pines sway, where front porch stories linger in the air, where neighbors still wave at passing trucks with their whole hand. This is Baker County, a place built by hands that work the land and by people who learned long ago that strength grows when a community grows together. Storms have come, challenges have passed through, but here, resilience isn't a slogan, it's a way of life. So when the Interagency Long-Term Recovery Committee asked, what does resilience mean to Baker County? The answer was clear. Bring us together, honor who we are, build something that lasts. And so, born from your voices and shaped by our history, we bring you the Farm and Folk Market, a celebration of what makes Baker County strong. Our growers, our makers, our families, our stories. A place where old traditions meet new beginnings, where small businesses can take root, and where all of us, every corner of the county, can stand together and say, this is who we are. From FEMA, from emergency management, from every partner who listened, this market is more than an event. It's a promise that Baker County's future will be built the same way as its past, with heart, with heritage, and with each other. Join us for the first Farm and Folk Market, a new tradition, rooted in the strength of Baker County.
So I shared with the board through an email with Sarah, a copy of the flyer. Please share it with all your friends, all your family, spread the word. It's a fantastic event, and with the energy that Shira and her team has put together, it's just an amazing project. And we're looking to make this that event that even several of the board members were stating we truthfully need in this county once again. So thank you for the opportunity. If you have any questions for Shira, again, she's here. Shira, do you have any questions for Shira? Somebody's got to ask who did the voice.
Hey, I got a question. Who did the voice on video?
The video production itself was done through Evan Ward, who is the medium director over at the high school.
Very
And the
professional.
original score and narrative was written by myself, produced through my husband's production company.
Great job.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The video has over 100,000 views online.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
I am no longer worried about under delivering. It's going to be great. So,
Great video.
Perfect.
Thank you.
The last thing I'd like to share with the board is our co-ed and the nonprofit side of things. And so we've talked quite a bit about the FEMA and what they've done. I would love to be able to quote the numbers, but I've got Ms. Colleen Rodriguez here, and she's a little bit hobbled. But Colleen, rather than me trying to reproduce what she's got in her mind, but this is the assistance we're providing for the survivors of our 2024 storm season. And with that, I'll let Colleen give an update on where we are.
Good evening.
Good
It's
evening.
good to see you all. I won't keep you long, but I know you guys like numbers, and so I thought I would just give you some updates. So we have been doing a lot in your county, and hopefully you've heard about it through our needs assessments. So in November, we brought World Renew in, and they came in for free to teach us how to do a needs assessment. And of course, people were kind of like, the storm has passed, could there possibly be still needs from the storms? And yes, 92 participants came in those days and said, yes, we are still having challenges from the past storms. And so we ranked them, 1 through 5, and 1 was like, oh my goodness, like you have people living in trailers where literally poles are holding their ceilings up. And that's the only reason why their ceiling is not collapsing on them. And so we were able to work with those 92, assess them, link them. Your contractors stood up, Muncie contractors stood up. And so as of now, thankfully, there was only about 6 that were like critical, could possibly not be able to stay in their homes. So out of that, 2, we have already spent $41,792,000 that Jewish family had raised through the Red Cross. We have about $51,000 total. So we are renovating their homes right now as we speak. Almost done. We got the final bill today, so hopefully those people will be back in their homes and safe. We have 2 that were beyond repair, so we were able to spend the money. It's about $13,000 to demolish, and now we are actively looking for trailer homes or things that can be donated so that they can remain on that property and be able to afford it long term. So that we're actively looking for that as well. And the one thing, and I'll talk about it in 2 different times, is that we have a deed heirs issue. We have it in Duval County as well. We have it here. I'll talk about it a little bit more. So the other one was that we could do the work. We had the money to do the work, but the deed was unclear. So we're working with 3 Rivers to try to work that out, but that family's kind of in a hold. We have put many of these families in hotels in Baker County so that they can be safe while we're doing these rebuilds. Word of mouth came after that, and so 8 from churches came and sent 8 other additional participants and families that said we have needs. We're in the process of assessing them and working with contractors and getting those numbers as well. And so there may be additional people that we are helping and raising dollars for. And then we did another assessment in Kyler in the fire station. 9 participants came, 3 were storm related. So I'm telling you, we still have a storm problem here in Baker County, even though it's been over a year. 6 of them were just family issues that we were able to provide some services, some counseling, some food, those types of things. But there are 3 storm related, and we're in the process of assessing them. So I want to talk to you a little bit about the challenges. I have no ask, but I just want to put this in your mind. So the first one is there's going to be need for additional dollars. So at least $160,000 when we've done, like if we could serve everyone that was in that 1 and 2 category, at least $160,000. We've met some people. There was a conference last week in Orlando. We went down there. We think we're going to be able to bring some additional dollars in, but to make your community whole and those people that are living really in a dangerous situation in Baker County, it's gonna cost about $160,000. The other issue is over 60% of the people we're working with have that deed heirs rights issues. And I know it's not unique to your county. Three Rivers is doing a great job. Rich, maybe you're gonna have some insight into this, but we're not able to do the work, and our funders, the Red Cross and World Renew and all of the different funders, are not going to allow us to spend their money if there are deeds and heirs rights issues. And so we've got to get them solved first. And I'm looking at the calendar, as you all are, that June's coming, right? Hurricane season is coming, and we've got to get those figured out. So I'm open to any ideas that you have or people, but Three Rivers is doing a great job. The third issue that we're having, and I don't know what control you have over this, is that the landlords are not wanting to make the improvements on the property. The tenants aren't wanting to raise too much of a stink about it because we have affordable housing issue, not only here, but everywhere. And so they don't want to get evicted. But when we're offering the landlords help, we're offering them money, we're offering them to be honest with us about what's going on their property, and they're denying us. And so now we're not able to help. And so I don't know, we have to have a conversation about that and what benefits landlords are getting and landlord-tenant rights and the laws and rules around that. But when we're offering to fix your property, if you will just disclose some information or maybe put some money in the game a little bit, and they're denying having that conversation, it's a problem. And so those are our three big challenges right now that we're facing. The good news, just because I'm up here and you're stuck with me, is to talk about Jewish family, is that our food pantry is up and thriving at the Keller Center, and we are thrilled. So in Thanksgiving, we opened it up for the Thanksgiving time, and we served, that was our lowest month, 170 families, but it was in 24 minutes.
Wow.
So I think it's pretty good, 170 families in 24 minutes, and they all got turkeys and hams and those types of things. Our largest month was February, where we served 483 families. So everyone is allowed to come one time per month, and they are coming back. Both the homeless, the truly homeless, and we give them different types of food, and those that are families. This month so far, for March, we have served 274 families. So we're tracking. We have a food insecurity problem here. It's not unique, but we're paying attention to it. In April, we will open up our clothing closet and our housing items. So we've already been giving out tents, and we've been giving out blankets, and we've been giving out food at all these needs assessment times. But we're needing to give out bedding and towels, and when the winter came, when it was as freezing, we gave out sweatshirts for the kids to go to school in. So we're really expanding what we're doing at the Keller Center in addition to our mental health and our domestic violence and all of that. So lots of good things are happening, and I thank you for allowing the superintendent to give us that space, and hopefully you feel like we're using it to the best of our ability. I'll open for any questions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. The COAD is doing great work.
That was good.
It's very, very busy county.
I'm still amazed at 170 families in 24 minutes. I like
24
it.
minutes, we're good.
I like it. Put them on the boat ramp.
To add to, and Colleen's a bit modest if it's not obvious, because it's really not obvious looking there, but I can tell you that she is modest. So the COAD this last week, through the Division of Emergency Management with the help of the Sheriff's Office, set up our first unmet needs table. And essentially what that is we've brought in some folks who have some funds together. And although I think $160,000 is a pretty big haul, ultimately, we're quite confident that we're going to raise even more money than what the COAD's been able to get allocated for our residents now. But again, this is a very different environment, and one of the things that I hope that we're building towards is something that is sustainable year after year. We've been very fortunate that we only got affected with Debbie, and we haven't been hit hard since Debbie and Helene, but we never know when that next one is coming. And if we can help to build a more resilient system and net for our citizens that are survivors of those storms, I think it benefits all of us, those of us that are affected and those of us that aren't. And with that, if there are any questions?
Okay, one more thing. I forgot. We're also going to do 2 more needs assessments in Olustee and Sanderson. So I think the gentleman left, but I'm already going to book his place and pay the additional $50. And so we want to do 2 more needs assessments in Olustee and Sanderson because we feel like those are 2 communities we haven't reached yet.
Yes. Mr.
Dennis, I
Chairman.
need to interrupt you. We need to go into
Yes, sir. If
Mr.
there's no
Chairman, if I
questions,
could really quickly just add on that super fast. Colleen, if you guys are having something that is like that for the community, just call me. We don't charge rent for that. If that's something, no, if it's something that benefits the community, we waive that. That's something that our citizens benefit from. And just very quickly, we actually have LISC, an agency in Jacksonville and Three Rivers, that we have workshops for people who have heirs property issues locally here in this room. So if you'll get with me after that, we actually have them, and we very rarely have someone show up. So we do advertise for that. So if you run into issues with people who are having those heirs problems, we've got resources. We actually fund LISC annually to help people go through that heirs process. Yes,
So
ma'am.
over 100 people. And
Absolutely.
60%,
Yeah,
yes.
absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. We're moving into the public hearing. Ordinance number 2026-01. Ms. LaDonna, please.
All right, good evening. Everything I have for you tonight is for first reading, so no action required. And we have a few companion items. If it's okay with you, we'll present those together.
Yes, please.
All right. Let's turn it on here. Okay, so the first thing I have for you, they are companion items. This is for ordinance number 2026-01, a small-scale land use amendment with a request of Agriculture B to very low-density residential. The companion ordinance number 2026-02, a rezoning with a request of Agriculture 10 to residential conventional mobile home 2.5. So this application is actually made up of two parcels. So if you look at the map here, it is the one that is highlighted. It is also this parcel right beside it. So it is 5 acres in total that we are looking at, but it is separated into 2.5 acre parcels for taxing purposes. So this property is owned by Nutty Buddy LLC, Mr. Kelvin Cruz. The property is located off of Hill Lane, which comes off of Gaskin Circle. Again, land use of Ag B, a zoning of Ag 10. So the request, sorry, the property would currently be considered non-conforming, of course, because of the 2.5 acre parcels with a zoning of Ag 10. The applicant's intent is to bring the parcels into compliance with current standards and to place a mobile home on each of those 2.5 acre tracts and then sell them. So you'll see here from the land use and zoning map, this area is kind of a mix of things. You'll see on one side there's medium density residential with RCMH 0.5. Then there's also immediately surrounding Ag 10 with Ag Zone B. And then there's also a mix of very low density residential with some RCMH 1 and RCMH 2.5. So it is kind of surrounded by different things on each side. So we wanted to note that while the addresses associated to these two parcels, they do have Hill Lane addresses. However, the recorded easement for the parcels, the recorded easement comes along this blue line here and comes out on Gaskin Circle up here. So the access is not reflective of those addresses. So even though there are Hill Lane addresses, that is not where the access for these parcels are. So you can see it's noted on the survey, but it was kind of hard looking at that survey to truly see where that sits. So that's why we just kind of outlined that there. We sent this out for development review, and our fire chief did make some comments about the access and road needing to be improved to support the weight of a fire apparatus. It's not uncommon for him to respond with those sorts of comments, especially being this easement is not currently county maintained. It's not a county road in any way. Other than that, staff recommends approval. LPA recommended approval as well. So if you have any questions, just let me know.
So they will not be using the Hill Lane.
That-
It looks like there's a road off Hill Lane. They will not be using it, correct?
It's more like a driveway than an actual road that's through there. Talking to the property owners, it was explained to them that if they wanted to use Hill Lane, they would have to get with the property owners that live on those parcels, and there would have to be some sort of easement agreement in order to access that way.
Gotcha. But the only current easement goes all the way back around the
Yes.
entire parcel.
Yes, the only recorded easement is around the other parcels that way. There is an existing road there, and it's a pretty old road. It's an old logging road, and it has been used for hauling purposes.
Because the existing easement, am I correct that it goes through Rayonier property and it has locked gates at both ends of that easement? Is that correct? Am I wrong in that?
So I cannot answer to whether there are gates there, but the road has been used. If there are gates, they must not stay locked. But that is the recorded access.
There's a gate right there.
And it has been used in the past, so.
Okay.
Any other comments? Any comments from the audience?
Hi, my name is Margaret Williams.
Can you come up, please?
Come on up, Miss Marvel.
Good evening. My name is Margaret Williams, and I live on 14280 off of Hill Lane. And I'm just coming in, but I did hear Hill Lane. So it's a private road, so it's not for people to be coming through on. We have 2 mobile homes right on the side of us, and we've given them permission to come in on it. We don't want it to be a road where a lot of traffic is coming in off of it.
Sure. Yeah.
So she actually owns the parcel that
The road's on,
Yes.
on the 14280?
Yes.
Gotcha.
We didn't make it a road. The people that moved in, they just started coming in on it, and we just don't want to tell them you can't come in on it, but we don't want anybody else making it a road to go back in there to this property there. We'd rather them have another access there.
Right. Well, it shows they have another access. That was my only question, because I mean, it shows it going in there now. That's what I just didn't know if there was anything
And
related to it.
It stops at the end of our property. We have a
Yes, ma'am.
fence there.
Okay.
So it's not going back there now, and we don't want it to begin going back.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
Any other public comments? Thank you, Ms. LaDonna. Moving on to item number 3.
All right, the next application that we have is for ordinance number 2026-03, a rezoning request from Agriculture 7.5 to Agriculture 5. So this parcel is located off of Cleet Harvey Road. It's currently 10 acres and is made up of 2 parcels. So in question here is this whole square. So it is this piece here along with the, this 1 acre square here. The way the property is now, we would currently look at it as compliant with current standards. The applicant's intent is to, they're working on some estate planning, and they intend to split the property evenly between 2 siblings. So one of the siblings that would be receiving part of this property already owns this 1 acre piece here. So that is an old family lot from years ago. So it would be creating 2 5-acre tracts. That 1 acre piece that you see there would be absorbed into another 4 acres to create 2 5-acre tracts. You can see here most everything in the immediate area has an Ag Zone B land use and an Ag 7.5 zoning. You'll see the FEMA flood layer does come just right down the road from this parcel. It does not touch this parcel, but considering it was kind of close, we just wanted to show that. So if you look at the survey here, you would see how those 5 acres would lay out. This would be 1 5-acre tract, and this would be the second 5-acre tract encompassing that 1 acre family lot there. So again, this is a family doing some estate planning, and it's their intention to split this equally between 2 siblings to create 2 5-acre parcels. Anything, any additional subdivision of the property would require, a subdivision process, and there would be an additional requirements that you guys would see at that time. Staff recommends approval, and LPA recommends approval as well, or recommended approval as well.
Do they both have access to?
They do. They would both have road frontage along Cleet Harvey Road. Yes, sir.
Any other
Okay.
comments from the board?
So we're trying to put this thing together, then split it.
So not exactly. What it would look like was one sibling would get 4 acres and combine that with the 1
The
acre,
house,
and then
yeah.
the other sibling would get 5 acres.
Okay.
So we wouldn't necessarily combine it first and then separate
Yeah.
it, but
Okay. But 2 5s based off of that?
yes, sir.
Based off the 9 plus 1?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Any public comment on this? Hearing none, we'll move on to the last 2 combined, I assume.
Yes, sir. The last 2 we have, they are companion items, so we'll present those 2 together. So this is for ordinance number 2026-04, a small-scale land use amendment with a request of Agriculture B to very low-density residential. The companion ordinance number 2026-05 with a request of Agriculture 7.5 to residential conventional mobile home 2.5. So this property is located off of 23C. If you look, here is 121, here's 23C. Steel bridge on this side, so this is kind of the caution light at 121 and 23C there. So the parcel now currently is only 5 acres within that Ag 7.5 zoning, but this parcel was created prior to our current standards, so we would still honor the lot as it is now. The applicant intends to create a family lot in the future. So their intention would be a 2.5 acre zoning where they would keep 2.5 acres, and then they would give a child a 2.5 acre family lot. So that 5-acre parcel would become 2.5-acre parcels by way of family lot. So if you look at the land use and zoning maps here, to the immediate one side, you'll see very low density residential with some RC1. And then on two sides, you see Ag 7.5 with the Ag Zone B, and then on the other side, there is some RCMH1 and RC1 with some very low density residential. Talking with the property owner, it was not their intention to request a 1-acre density, just simply because that did not fit, what they were asking. It's their intention to keep 2.5 acres and give 2.5 acres to a child. So there was not a need to ask for additional density in this situation. So that's why you see the RCMH 2.5 instead of a 1-acre zoning, just to kind of protect the property going forward from any further density or subdivision without additional processes. So if you see here, this is how they intend to split the property by that family lot. The parents live here in the front. They would keep the front 2.5 acres and deed the back 2.5 acres to the child. The easement would go along this side of the property. We did talk some at the LPA meeting. The driveway that's currently there doesn't necessarily align with where this easement is. So you would see either the driveway shifted to meet this easement or the easement shifted so that there was only one point of access. It's not their intention to have 2 points of access, so that it would be a shared driveway there. Again, an additional process would be required if they wanted to subdivide it any further than just allowing for the family lot for their child. Staff recommends approval, and LPA recommended approval as well.
Any comments from the board? Any public comments on this item?
Did you have a question?
Mr. Chairman, so is the parents willing to take down their garage so that way we could put a driveway through there? Was that brought up?
So they could meet the garage meets the setbacks to allow the driveway to go through there.
Okay, it does. There's enough, you're saying there's enough room between the garage and the property line for the driveway?
Yes, yes.
I can answer that.
Okay,
Raymond Bailey.
thank you, Mr. Bailey.
The driveway currently already goes back there.
Okay,
So the driveway from the street, it's dirt right now, but there's gravel from the street up to where our driveway to the garage to our house is. And then beyond that, it's some gravel and some dirt and grass, but there is a driveway that actually goes all the way back into this 2.5 acres. And we intend on using that same driveway. Maybe improve it with some gravel.
it's on the east property line, or is it go right?
It's outside of that easement,
It's on this side here.
but it does go to the right of that shop back there in the back.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Bailey.
Yes, sir.
Any other comments, questions? I think that's us, Mr. Madonna.
All right, so just wanted to look there. It does look like, Blake, that it's about 55 feet from the property line to the side of that structure.
Okay, sounds good. I was going by the GIS map,
with
which
a-
is not accurate.
Yeah, it's a 30-foot proposed easement for ingress and egress, and it's 55 foot from the property line. So there'd be, some additional space there too.
Everybody's good? Thank you, Ms. Combs. We're moving back into regular session. Moving down to item number 6, approval of payment, year 23-24 inmate medical. Randy Cruz.
This is a request for county inmate medical costs that happen outside of the facility for budget year, fiscal year 23-24. The cost after cap deduction is $200,252.45.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
this is for the fiscal year 23-24, correct?
Yes.
What's the reason for the delay?
It's not abnormal for them to be delayed. Now, this one is delayed a little bit more than the norm, but two things. Number one, that was the first year that we moved to Yes Care because we got away from Armor.
Okay.
So it was their first year. Our facility building is a lot different than most because we have county, BOP, ICE, and marshals. So a lot of work has to go into making sure
Stars of
that
right.
allocations are made in the right place. And so they sent me their first bill probably 3-4 months ago, somewhere around there. And I was doing line item reviews, and I realized that they had some errors in their billing, so I sent it back and rejected it. So after they rectified that issue, got it completed, so it ended up being, because it was about $32,000 more what they've done, and basically is exactly that issue occurred where they were, and it was for medications where they were billing the county for ICE inmate medications. So which is something we picked up on the line item when we checked it.
Sure.
So
Okay.
that's why this one's a little bit longer, but then to pivot to that, because you know this is 23-24, so then I inquired about last
24-25.
fiscal year's budget, or cap allocations. And so they had to go back and do the same thing because they were working them simultaneously. But they told me that they should have 24-25 should be finished by the end of this month.
Okay.
And then those other issues that made this one worse than what it was as far as the review have been rectified. And it was not from the folks at the sheriff's office. This is their corporate office. So those issues were not taking place in-house. These are things that happened where they got mixed up at their office, their corporate office.
Okay.
So these charges are overage than what we allocate. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, you budget, I think this up to 200,000 is what you budgeted the last couple of years, I think, on it. But what happens is that we do a contract for in-house medical, so everything that's covered, that we do in-house, we do as much as we can in-house. Sick calls for the common stuff. But when you have those issues where they have to be treated outside of the facility, that's outside of the contract. They do give us $150,000 is built into the agreement with the medical provider. But once you get over that 150, that's when it's over what's accounted for.
So really,
But just looking at this, if you go back to this bill right here, the total was 300 and
close to 350 probably, right?
350, 252, then you take off the cap of 150 and gets you down to 200, 252. But five inmates who had extended hospital stays accounted for 154,321 of that. And I mean, there were extensive hospital stays. And as we always try to do, is if there's a way to get them released, we do, but that doesn't always work out. You can't always just get them released.
Yes, sir.
Is the Yes Care contract annual contract or ongoing?
It's an annual contract we do, yeah. Well, with them, we did 2 years this year. So we did 2 different contracts with 2 years. So we have Yes Care again this year and next year already booked in.
Okay, I was just, because of the change cost, the delay before, I was just wondering if we were gonna be continuous, and sounds like you've got a better schedule for 24, 25 already.
Yeah, you talking about being delinquent? Yeah, that shouldn't be that
Yeah.
way. Now, again, a lot of it has to do with the volume, because they don't just take the bills at face value.
Yeah.
Build into what we do with them, they have to go through and find out who's eligible for Medicare, Medicaid. They go and try to get.
Lot of processing.
Yeah, that's right. They have to go in and review, because somebody else may be looking at insurance that they may have and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What you get is what has not been, and then we deal with bill reduction. So we go through processes of, some of them give us a 30% reduction, 50% reduction. So all of those things get worked out on the back end, and then you get the final bill.
Right. Okay.
Sounds good. I'll make a motion, we approve the invoice total of $200,252.45 to Yes Care.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the allocation of $200,252.45 to Yes Care. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Cruz. Next few items are all DOT resolutions. Chris Lee.
Hey, how
You're
y'all
on
doing?
the stage.
Good evening, everybody. Okay, the first one we're gonna start off with is Resolution 2026-08. It's FDOT Supplemental Funding Agreement for County Road 229, from Verde Dorman North, 3.9 miles. It's additional monies of $766,044.83. And this was to supplement our shortfall for the bid that we had put out. DOT told us to go ahead and bid it, and then they'd see where we stood, and then they were able to come up and give us some extra money. So we're asking for you to approve this. So next meeting, I can come and award the contract to the contractor, the CEI group.
Chris, did it stop at the Griffiths Curve or no? Am I at the right place?
Griffiths Curve.
It's past that?
Wrong place. It's over on the other road, right?
It's on the other road
It's the other group
to
that's
go.
Yeah, no, I grew up over
I'm trying to think where it is.
North of 125. You're talking south of 125.
No.
No, I'm
This is
talking north.
229.
Yeah, it's 229.
So the Griffiths curve that you're talking about is on 127,
Yeah.
Right.
not 229.
So is it?
Right, you're talking 127, this is 229.
Okay, never mind.
Going up towards 250,
Right.
where 250 ties into
Okay.
that Y.
Now I know where I'm at. Okay.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2026-08. Is that a read by title?
Second.
Resolution 2026-8, a resolution of the Board of County Commissioners of Baker County, Florida, authorizing the execution of a supplemental funding agreement with the Florida Department of Transportation. Financial project number 445819-1-54-01.
All in favor of approving 2026-08, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Moving on to number 8, 2026-09.
Okay, this is Resolution 2026-09. This is for a bridge replacement on County Road 229 over Cedar Creek. This resolution supports DOT's project to replace the bridge going over that creek. This is basically a DOT fund, a federally funded DOT project. The county has no match or anything. DOT actually does everything. And we just basically have to approve them to do it.
Approve them to be able to do work in our county, basically.
That's basically all it amounts to. They hire the contractors, they go out and they do everything. All we do is lay here and we're done.
And they've already done the preliminary testing and all that. They've been out there for the past
Yeah, a
3 or
while.
4 months
Yeah.
at least.
No cost to the county, that's a good thing.
That's the main thing, there's
That
no
is.
cost to the county.
So no
Next-
cost to the county in 2 years, right?
Right.
So the letting date's 2028.
Yes,
Yeah.
the
Right.
let is January of 28.
Okay.
Make a motion, read by title resolution 2026-09.
Second.
Have a
Resolution.
motion and a second.
Sorry, Mr. Chair. Resolution 2026-9, a resolution of the Baker County Board of County Commissioners which endorses the Florida Department of Transportation Delivery and Design Alternatives of Financial Project Number 436337-1, Bridge Culvert Replacement at County Road 229 over Cedar Creek, 270030.
All in favor of approving 2026-09 signify by saying aye. All opposed, like sign. 2026-10.
Okay, this one is, again, this is a DOT. They're going to go to the property for this bridge that I just spoke of. And they're going to get a temporary detour, a temporary easement so they can build a detour for this road because it's going to be take about 42 months is what they're figuring for the whole process. Yes. So this is something, they do all the legwork and everything. The only portion of this is what we actually do right here tonight.
Any questions or comments about the temporary right-of-way?
So they're purchasing or they're trying to acquire a temporary construction easement for this period of time, correct?
Yes.
Will that be turned back over to?
Yes, it's straight, it's just a temporary easement. And from what I understand, they set up some kind of agreement for payment to the landowners.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was gonna get at. Is this
Yeah.
to the landowners? Is
Yeah,
what
but
it
this is the landowners that DOT sets up some kind of payment. I don't know what it is. It's not disclosed to any of us.
To the private land, to the new
Yes, sir.
bridge, access has some right of way issues on private landowners.
Mhm.
So they would in turn rent their property from them. If it required any private, they don't expect payment to the county though.
So what we're doing now, just so I'm clear, they're gonna work that deal out with the citizens.
Yes.
Correct.
We're approving them to shift the right of way for temporary construction easement.
Correct.
And then shift it back onto the road once they finish it in
Correct.
42 months.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay. Make a motion to approve. You got a question, John?
Yeah, so what if the private landowners deny access? Is
Then they'll
that-
go across the street and ask them the other side, and then the process starts over.
But
They'll go
this
across
this
on the other
gives
side of
them
the
the
road.
It's my
ability to ask
understanding
the
they have an
question.
agreement.
Agreed.
Okay.
And it was a very small amount of space, I think, that they
It's
needed.
my understanding.
It's
they
two
have an
2 acres, I
agreement.
believe.
They've already surveyed
That's
the
about
right of
it.
way and everything.
Oh, so they already kind of have.
Yeah, they've already got it drawn up and everything. This has been going on for a while, so.
Okay.
And it's my understanding from DOT also that the right of way that they need from the property owners was just to park equipment. It wasn't to construct anything on.
Okay. Make a motion to approve resolution 2026-10, read by title.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
So there actually isn't a title
Yeah,
to
no, no, no
2026-10, but it is for the public's knowledge and transparency purposes. It is contained on PDF pages 46 and 47, and then, I mean, that's the actual resolution. And then the actual easement, the temporary construction easement, is on 48 and 49. So at that point, you can just vote, Mr. Chair.
We have a motion and a second to approve 2026-10. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. I'll move on to 2026-11.
Okay, this is for another FDOT bridge replacement, and this is for Reynolds Bridge. And this one's supposed to let sometime in December of 2027. And this is the one that goes over the St. Mary's River. Again, this is federally funded. The county has no horses in the race, and everything's done by DOT and Georgia DOT. But Georgia seems to be fighting us on it, so.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2026-11, read by title.
I'll second that with comments. Georgia seems to be fighting us on that.
They basically said they're not interested in.
They don't want to
care.
contribute to helping the
Yeah.
construction costs.
They don't care if the bridge opens back up or not, so. DOT stepped up and said, we want it open, we'll pay for it all.
And I'm so glad they did.
Florida DOT.
DOT said they'll pay for
Florida
all
DOT.
of it,
Yes.
all the way into Georgia. Okay.
Yeah.
We have a motion and a second.
Resolution 2026-11, a resolution of the Baker County Board of County Commissioners which endorses the Florida Department of Transportation delivery and design alternatives of financial project number 437424-1, bridge replacement at County Road 120 Reynolds Bridge Road over North Prong, St. Mary's River, 274135.
We have a motion and a second for 2026-11. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign.
Chairman,
Yes, sir.
just for the public reference, do we know of any kind of timeline on when, just so we don't get into asking about the boat ramp and now the Reynolds Bridge every week? Do we have any idea on when they can see something?
Yes, sir.
They should go out for bid on 12/15/27.
That's correct.
And it's
Sorry.
scheduled to complete by 2/28/29, according to
Yeah,
our
it's
packet.
about a 48-month project. The construction.
Just wanted the public to hear that.
Yes, sir.
29, correct?
29.
Yes.
Mhm.
So that's only like a 24 month.
Yeah, somebody just said 48 more.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry.
So,
I'm
I'm
thinking
sorry,
48 month on the other
48
bridge.
month was the temporary easement on the last thing you
Yeah.
voted on.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. That was my mistake.
So it should be a 2-year project.
2-year project.
Once it goes out for bid and everything on 12/15/27.
Correct.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, that's correct.
That's according to their schedule.
Okay.
Schedule change.
We ready for the next one?
2026-12.
Okay, this next one is for another bridge replacement. This is one for Richardson Road Bridge, going over the south prong of the St. Mary's River. Again, this is fully funded by feds, and DOT is running the entire project. And we have asked to change this from a single-lane bridge to a 2-lane bridge just for future. Because this bridge won't be replaced again for probably 50 years, so I asked them to go ahead and make it a 2-lane instead of just a single lane. And they seem to be okay with that. That's what it's looking like they're gonna do.
And the project will go out for bid on 2/28/29. So we're
29
talking
is-
about
We're
3
still
years
ways
from now.
away, yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Make a motion to read by title resolution 2026-12.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Resolution 2026-12, resolution of the Baker County Board of County Commissioners which endorses the Florida Department of Transportation delivery and design alternatives on financial project number 436333-1, bridge replacement at Richardson Road over South Prong, St. Mary's River, 274114.
We have a motion and a second to approve 2026-12. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. 2026-13.
Okay, this is a lighting agreement between the county and FDOT again. And this is for them to take care of the lighting that's on US 90 or State Road 10 along Wildcat, Olusty, Battlefield, and Cypress Street. This takes care of all the lighting, it's a maintenance thing. DOT handles everything. If we see a problem, we just let them know, and DOT they have people that go out. We'll set them up to get them fixed, but DOT pays for everything. This is an annual agreement also.
So how often are we riding this and making sure that they're all up
Any,
to date?
anytime we're riding any other, if we see any problems, this is basically every day.
Okay.
We don't physically go out there and just inspect it. It's just when you're driving, you see lights out. You know, you're riding at night, you're going out with a family or something, you see a light out, you make a note of it, call them Monday or whatever.
Sure, but they're not coming to look themselves to
No,
come
they
fix
won't, no,
anything.
this is strictly us calling them. Now, if they happen to be in the area and they see it, they'll do it on their own, but we take care of that part,
Okay.
notifying them.
We definitely need to, I would say, put something more in writing of when we go and observe this. You know what I mean? Instead of just whenever we see something or notice something. If we go once a quarter or once biannually.
It's whenever I'm out, because of my position, I'm looking every time I drive down the road.
Sure.
So, I'm looking at it 20 times a month, all of
Okay.
it, so.
All right. Well, like I said, they only come if we call them to come.
Yes.
So we need to make it a point to have something where it's part of our daily task,
Okay, we can do that.
Appreciate it.
Mr. Chairman, are we, if we see one light out, are we calling them, or we
Yep.
wait until there's
No,
5
no,
or 6
no.
lights
We
out?
wait as soon as there's a light out.
So do we have any idea how many we replaced last year?
No.
So what I'm getting at is this 13,000, is this a cap price that they're giving us regardless of how many we're out? Okay. So so that's why I could agree with Commissioner Mobley that, that we have the funds there and the means. If all it is just checking out, I encourage us to just make sure that and I'm not saying you're not, Chris.
I know that. I
Well, I'm just reiterating what he's saying. The money's there. And the rate, so my last question, so last year, the contract is for 13,000. Did we go over that number? Do we know what happens if we have more?
I don't know what happens, because we've never gone over the number.
Is this something new, or we always done it?
No,
with
this is ongoing.
This
We've
is
been doing
done
this for
every
years.
year.
Okay.
Where we enter into an agreement with FDOT. There's different agreements. Some are for lights, some are for road maintenance and things like that, where we handle all of it and essentially they pay for it. So if it goes over, they still pay for it. But they estimate around the state what the costs are to maintain, again, the lights, roads, things like that.
Well, good.
No, you're good.
Well, one thing I would like to know then, if we're paying 13,000,
No,
I was just wondering how many we
They're
did.
paying
They're paying us.
They're paying us.
No, we pay nothing. This is
Gotcha,
no cost to
okay,
us.
I misunderstood
FDOT
that.
pays us 13,000 we basically manage the their LED lights, but the light replacement as needed.
So you're telling me they're sending us a check for 13,000 if we want to replace one light this year?
Correct.
Correct.
Okay.
Same thing, like,
Pretty good deal.
they pay us for, like.
That's what I'm trying to get at, do we?
You're
Yeah,
absolutely
like we
correct.
handle the mowing schedules for different parts of roads for them as well. So there's different agreements we enter into with FDOT.
Yeah, I still want it documented, like how many they did do, that way we know, kind of going forward. Okay, appreciate it.
Yeah, because it sounds like we
Motion
pay
to-
them for them up front and then they reimburse us.
So that should be a direct payment. I think that's the check that comes straight to the county. I could be mistaken on that though.
It says the FDOT will pay the maintaining agency. And if you look on the first page, second page, the maintaining agency will be us.
On the third page of your document, it says a lump sum amount. I think they pay that out in advance for us, and it just goes into Chris's road budget on this road maintenance cost. See that there on section 2.0 compensation, the very, almost the last sentence there in the middle. They pay
Commissioner
the lump
Hartley.
sum amount.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2026-13, read by title.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Hold on, Commissioner.
Well, what if we change out more than 13,000? lots.
They still pay that, that's what he said.
Yeah, you would
Yeah,
just
we-
go to them and explain that to them,
They
Commissioner,
have a
with your
unit price
invoices.
and they would adjust
Yeah.
the agreement and they would pay us more.
Yeah, but we have not gone over that amount.
Okay.
Chris is correct in that.
Okay.
We have a motion and a second.
Resolution 2026-13, a resolution of the Board of County Commissioners of Baker County, Florida. State Highway Lighting Maintenance and Compensation Agreement with the Florida Department of Transportation Financial Project Number 414401-1-78-01.
We have a motion and a second for 2026-13. All in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed, like sign.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Lee. Ms. LaDonna, you're up next.
All right, me again. Okay. So what you have in front of you guys this evening, so anytime we get in any sort of application, whether it be a land use change, a zoning change, any sort of application, generally we have a pre-application meeting with the property owners, developer, whoever may be involved in the application. So about 2 weeks ago, we had a pre-application meeting about the property that is located out across the road across 90 from the Walmart DC. They're calling the project Midpoint Cummings, so I'm sure you guys are all familiar with the project. At least some degree you've heard about it. So we had a pre-application meeting to discuss the application, to discuss the process, all of those things. So they have submitted a letter. You'll see the letter there in your packet. And it is in relation to the fees associated with a land use and zoning change. So with a land use and zoning application, the fees are broken down on the application. We have an actual application fee, advertising fees, recording fees, and then a portion of the application is based on the acreage of the property. And that portion is generally where those third-party services are paid for. So that's where any attorney fees, engineering fees, anything like that, that's paid out of that acreage fee. And that is $20 per acre. And that's across the board with all of the applications that have an acreage fee. It's $20 per acre. And that has been consistent at least since the early 2000s. The earliest application of this sort that I looked at today was from 2003, and that acreage fee was even the same back then at that $20 per acre. So it has been the request of the applicant to have a different approach to that fee schedule. So in their letter, you'll see this project is 2,134 acres. Based on our current applications for a land use and rezoning application, it would be between $86,000 and $87,000 just for the application fees. So that would cover both applications for a large-scale land use amendment and for a PUD zoning application. So the ask that you have here from the applicant would be to pay an initial $15,000 upfront for each application to total $30,000 for both applications, and that if the review cost were to approach or exceed that amount, then they would replenish the balance as needed. That estimate they have based on the number of acres that they intend to use within that 2,100 acres. So I did hear some feedback from you guys requesting some additional information historically, you know, if we had ever taken this approach before. So based on the records that we have not ever waived or reduced the land use and zoning fees for this sort of application. So we've had a couple, of course, with 2,100 acres, this is not, this project size isn't something that we see very often. But we have had a few, one of which was in 2015. It was about 1,100 acres. And the fees were paid in full, including the acreage fee on that application. There was another one in 2007 that was 3,600 acres, and it was handled the same way. Those are the two that are most comparable to this one. We've had a whole handful of applications that were just over 100 acres. So they would still go through a large-scale land use like this application, but of course just not quite the same size. And those have all been handled the same way too. So we requested that this be brought in front of you guys. This is not a question that I'd ever been asked before. So when we were discussing fees, we said, you know, this is something a little bit out of our wheelhouse. So we wanted you guys to see it, you guys to kind of make that decision. It's just has not been our practice thus far, but we are open to, you know, whatever your suggestion may be. I reached out to some surrounding counties to kind of see how they handle it, and honestly, it really depended on the application. There were some counties that if they had an acreage fee, they capped it at a certain number of acres. You know, up to 1,000 acres, they would collect that fee, and then wouldn't collect over 1,000 acres unless the project went over. But honestly, there wasn't a consistent answer from the counties that I talked to. It was really project specific and development specific. So I'm open to hear your thoughts, your suggestions. Like I said, this is not something that we had ever been asked before. So
Did we
or
charge
not-
for the pre-application meeting?
We did not.
Okay. Most counties actually charge for that pre-application meeting too.
Yeah, we generally do not. It's just provided as a courtesy, and to kind of for us, we provide that as a courtesy, and it kind of helps weed out any of the big issues that we may have when an application is submitted. So it helps us get a better application the first go round.
And like St. Johns County would charge $4,000 up front,
Yeah.
plus $21 per acre, plus the cost of advertising.
For the pre-application meeting?
No, for the rezoning application fee.
What would you
Yes.
charge for the pre-application meeting?
They would have charged $583 for the
$583? Okay.
And just like I said, going back, you guys probably remember, I guess, about 1.5 years ago, we did a fee update, but that was really on our permit fees and things like that. The application fees, over the last 20 years, the only thing that we have really changed as far as application fees are concerned is just the advertisement fee. We've adjusted as, you know, as postage has went up, as the price of our signs has went up. So really that advertisement fee is really the only part that's changed. Other than that, the application fee's been pretty consistent for the last 20 or 25 years. The applicants are here if you have specific questions that they may be able to answer that I can't. But again, like I said, we're kind of open-minded to whatever your suggestion may be.
I'm happy to explain why we requested it.
You want to come up?
Yes, please.
I'm Richie Schultz with the development. I represent the development and developers. Our engineer, England, Timms and Miller, has done the majority of the master plan communities in Northeast Florida, as far as at least the more recent ones. You know, and honestly, they brought this to me, and I said, yeah, well, why not? You know, the fees are supposed to cover actual costs of review. So, but by no means are we suggesting that we don't want to cover those. But in their past, on average, this project would be a lot less than $86,000, significantly less. So what they thought was it's best we propose, you know, maybe the actual acreage we're using their methodology, and it's still more. They wanted me to come in with less. I said, well, make it more, bump it up more, so at least there's some coverage there on the actual acreage. That said, I just want to make it clear that we're not looking for any help with it. You know, we're happy to respect anything that you would like to have us do. You know, just want to make it clear where we are at with that.
Any questions or comments from the board?
And I would even agree to if it came to a, you know, within $5,000 or, you know, whatever number of what we've already provided, whatever it may be, that we would replenish, you know, whatever number you feel is comfortable, you know, at that time. But again, open to anything, you know, that you decide. So.
Please.
Yeah.
I understand England, Timms and Miller have estimated the cost at a lot less than what the fee would be. If it goes over what the fee would be, you willing to cover that cost as well?
100%.
So you indemnify the county from any cost
Absolutely.
for planning and zoning.
Absolutely.
And I will say that is on our application too, that even outside of any sort of fee agreement, it is on there that if at any point any application goes over the cost, that the applicant would be responsible.
We wouldn't have it any other way.
My concern is the volume of this project exceeds our in-house capabilities, so we're gonna have to contract with somebody to do all the review and everything. And we don't know what that contract cost would be.
Agreed, and you know, we're big boys. We know what it costs, so we're not suggesting that we want you to have the burden of any of that, whatever it may be.
Sure.
We're hopeful that a lot of the work we've done and we provide is going to answer a lot of the questions that are going to be asked anyhow.
Mr. Commando. Sir. St. Johns County charges $4,000 plus $21 an acre?
Yes, sir.
Plus what?
Plus cost of advertising, there's a pre-application fee. I mean, it depends on some other things too, but that's their base.
Pre-app meeting. Okay, so technically right now, if we just went off of what they've done, we're already 500 into this, correct? I mean, we've had the pre-application meeting, which we did because right now we do not charge for it.
Right.
Correct?
Yes, sir.
I mean, we haven't, the last project that you told me, or that you spoke about here, was 3,600 acres back in 2007. Was there one more recent than that?
In 2015, there was one for about 1,100 acres.
2015?
Yes.
Okay.
They only did a large-scale land use. They did not do a rezoning at the same time.
So they just had to pay the
So
20,
it was just one
technically the
application
$20.
instead of
Sure.
two.
Whereas this one, they're paying $20 for the rezoning. And then,
$20
and
for the land
$20
use.
for the future land use.
Mhm.
That's why it's coming out to the 86,000 plus
Yes.
advertising for both, because
Yes.
it's two different things, right? Just want to make sure everybody's on the same page with this. That's why it's coming up to almost $40, technically $40 an acre, plus the advertising fees, the engineer review and everything else. Which now, because right now Baker County is to a point where we have to look outside of our county staff in order to review this.
Sure.
And that's something that, you know, going forward, we need to address 100%, because it's not if, but when developments like these come into our county and are knocking at the door saying, hey, here we are.
And we're prepared for that.
That's
We
right.
have been since inception.
Sure.
And I will say, all of the ones that I sent, earlier, those examples, all of those were sent out. All of those were reviewed, third party.
Have we reached out to third parties yet? After the pre-app meeting, in order to
Without-
kind of gauge
Honestly,
an
without an
estimate?
application, they wouldn't have enough information to even give us an estimate.
Right.
When we had a pre-application meeting though, what did they give you then?
The presentation was just verbal via PowerPoint. We don't have an
Yeah, it
application
was just
from
an
the applicant
overview.
yet, so we
Sure,
wouldn't have
just an
anything to share
overview.
with
It was
the.
just an overview.
And Commissioner,
We,
that's-
we basically wanted to get the feedback,
Yeah.
so we could, come up with solutions if there were
Sure,
problems.
sure.
for a large-scale comp plan amendment in St. John's, it would be 4,094 plus 21 an acre plus the cost of advertising. So you would pay both fees there too. So you would pay 42. an
Yeah,
acre
because
for them.
they're
How-
technically two different.
How often in St. Johns County was this fee waived?
I haven't seen one yet.
Even for all the PUDs down there?
Not any that I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no cap on either one of those?
Doesn't say it on the fee schedule.
Okay.
Not in St. John's?
No.
In St. John's, I mean, it blew up down there.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm very hesitant on, doing the fee reduction at this point. I think that we, as a county, I definitely don't want to front none of it. I know you're coming to us saying that you don't want to you don't want us to have to front anything either. But I definitely want to make that clear, like we're not trying to have the taxpayers front the bill on this one.
Yeah, and
for
I,
sure.
and I don't want to get off on the wrong foot. My engineer, who the lead engineer on it, is the CEO of the company.
Right.
I'm going by his guidance, and he said like this is not gonna, it's not gonna get there. But
Sure.
if you're uncomfortable, I mean, listen, I'm fine to deal with whatever. I'm basically here on their
That's right. That's
on
right.
their recommendation.
My only, again, I have many concerns on this, but also the precedents that it states or that it sets for the next one that comes. As far as, if with the third party engineering firm that we're gonna have to get and everything beyond that, now we set a precedence where each developer is gonna come to us saying, hey, we're not gonna do it the way you have it in your code. We're gonna propose that we pay as we go. And, some of the concerns there are if you withdraw your application at that point, am I left holding the bag if we go above the 15 initially before it's replenished? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and again, I think their methodology on it was, a very large portion of the acreage in the project is either wet or open space. It's not what's being reviewed technically, so they kind of went off the acreage that is, and thought that was a more reasonable approach.
Right. Well, a lot of times the wetlands have to be mitigated and such, so I mean, they require a little bit more oversight.
Listen, I'm going by what I got in my bag.
Right.
So,
That's right.
I'm,
No, I agree, and hey,
and I can respect your position as well.
Sure.
It was just more of a feeling that they thought that this isn't supposed to be a how did he put it? And I don't want to throw him under the bus either because he's my engineer, but it's not supposed to be a fee generator. It's supposed to be a coverage of costs.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
And
I would imagine if we get to the point where the project's complete and we didn't use any of those fees, we would look at rebating them.
Yeah, and I may look at taking that and using some of it for some goodwill in the community. So
that's right.
Take that bridge when we come to
No, we're just trying to cover our actual costs as well.
That's right.
Yeah, I
You
wanna
know,
make sure you
we're
do.
not trying to make money off of it for sure, but we
Yeah.
definitely don't want to be behind the 8 ball.
Yeah,
And,
that-
and I don't want to put ourselves in a position to be behind the 8 ball at any stance.
That's why I was offering the replenishments as we go, but,
Sure.
look, I don't wanna, you know, put anything, you know, bad here anyway, so.
Sure. Okay.
Chairman?
Yes, sir.
You made the comment earlier, Mr. Schultz, that your boss sent you here and you
No,
didn't
not my
want-
boss.
The engineer sent you here.
Well, he didn't send me, let me rephrase that. He suggested that it was an excessive fee to start with, and
Okay.
that we should ask for reduction.
But you also made the comment that you didn't want to get off on the wrong foot. I feel like that this request, that the time that's been spent by this county looking into this, the time that's been taken up from the board tonight, I feel like this is absolutely getting off on the wrong foot.
Okay, well, I didn't realize it was gonna take that kind of effort to go in. I thought it was gonna be more cut and dry, so rescind it. You know, my apologies. If you wanna go to 42, well, I don't wanna go backwards here, but, I didn't mean any disrespect by it.
No disrespect taken. You have to understand that the citizens of this community, they are already pushing back on any kind of growth. So whether this board is for growth or not for growth, we're already battling representing our people of the county, okay? So whenever you come in, the first thing that you've done is ask for a reduction of these fees. That's going in the opposite direction of gaining the community's trust, okay? And it's is what I'm trying to get at. And so, and it alerts me. It makes me think, well, if he's trying to cut corners on this, and I don't mean disrespect by that, but if you're trying to cut corners on paying these bills that are not even revenue for us, this is just covering our costs. It concerns me on what other corners are we going to try to cut? You follow what I'm saying? Like, where am I really going to have to start paying attention to the fine print now to make sure that we don't cut other corners? And so that's all I just want to say is don't make it hard for us to
It was not
gain support for you.
It was not my intention to do so, and my apologies if that's the way it came across. I will be confident in the fact that when you do see the presentation from my engineers, who, you know, arguably one of the best in the area, but certainly one of the most expensive, that you'll understand we're not trying to cut any corners by any means.
Oh, absolutely. No, I appreciate it. I mean, and hey, it's you have to come ask, right?
Yeah.
And there's no ill feelings whatsoever. I'm excited to see the proposed project and get a chance to really dive into it.
Yeah.
I know you and I have met with ETM as well. They're definitely very strong around this northeast Florida, you know,
Yeah.
and further beyond that. So I'm excited to look at the project. However, right now I have my reservations on doing the proposed limits right now.
Again, we had a discussion about it.
That's right.
I thought it was kind of welcomely open. It was rescinded. And I apologize for the time it took. I didn't realize it was going to take that. I didn't realize he was even going to come to a.
There's no reason to apologize. That's our
National
job
Fund.
for when you come to us, for us to research it and to look into it and decide whether it's for the people, for the best for this county. So there's no reason to apologize, and we're not upset with you.
Well, I take the blame, so, I'm the one that said, yes, let's put the letter, and I signed the letter, so, you should put it on me.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I've been looking at this also. I probably think it would set a precedent that we probably didn't want to do, but I do not take any kind of problem with you asking. That didn't even come to my mind. So
Okay, well,
don't.
appreciate that.
This commissioner didn't see that. So
Thank you, Commissioner.
you don't ask, you don't know.
That's it.
And it's your job to ask, you know,
Yeah.
and I appreciate your time for it and looking into it, because it really opened our eyes as a whole too, that, hey, it's coming. Baker County, get ready, stuff is coming here. So we need to know, we need to be prepared on how we're going to address it as soon as it comes out the door. I mean, if you go back to the beginning of kind of whenever I started my campaign, while I was campaigning, I've seen the growth in St. Johns County. I'm actively working in St. Johns County. I see it blowing up. I see it, the pros and the cons of development. Clay County, Nassau, everywhere. I've seen it, doing it, and actively engaged in it at this time. So I understand all of it. And then you look at Baker County, and it's not if, but when it pushes out this way. And I mean, ultimately, you standing here today shows that it's knocking on our doors.
Yeah.
And we as a county have to be ready and prepared for you to come ask.
Sure.
You know, and so I thank you for coming to ask,
Yeah.
because it opened our eyes to stuff, our own shortcomings right now, saying, hey, we need a third party outsider to review it. We need to look at the precedences that we set beforehand, and going forward, how are we going to address it?
Sure.
And my only, like I said, one of my concerns right now is the precedence that it sets going forward.
I understand.
Because the next one that comes knocking on the door, we just did it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
understood.
that's my concern.
And also, just to clear, you know, I think as far as cutting corners, this fee is a very minimal portion of, like extremely minimal portion of what we've already spent on preparation for this. So I assure you, that's not what we're looking to do here. It was just an actual us looking at what it's actually going to cost versus what the no cap on the acreage came out to. So
Again, my apologies.
Not a problem.
Yeah, no need to apologize. You're
All
good.
right.
I am an advocate for impact fees, just to keep the cost of growth away from the tax base that we have. So waiving the fees for a new development, if any of that cost goes toward the current tax base, that would be my biggest concern. And I think that's the concern of the county is what happens when growth happens, it falls on the, and that's why I like planned community, because you're not doing 100 acres at a time with 50 homes, you're doing a larger scale.
Right.
So I like the concept that you're doing, but I'm uncomfortable waiving the fees.
Understood, 100%. And again, to your point, we're only looking to help the county. We're not looking to put any more impact on it. We're trying to, increase job growth and add more taxes, et cetera. So take burden off people, not put it on.
That's right.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay.
Look forward to looking at it at some point.
Yeah, as do I.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
What action is needed?
None.
None.
The request was withdrawn.
Rescind.
Thank you, Mr. Schultz.
All right, thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
all of you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Opioid funds, Miss Sarah Little.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Get my microphone situated here. So presented before you all tonight is year 3 of our LSF opioid funding for some local programs. So to bring everybody up to speed, several years ago, the county actually participated in a nationwide class action lawsuit on some pharmaceutical companies. And through that process, Baker County was awarded some funding over the next 18 years. And we are currently on year 3 of that. Even though this is coming through and treated much like a grant, it is not grant money that we have to ask for each year. That agreement for the 18-year payment was set when that class action lawsuit was settled. And there was a trust fund that was created to fund that through the next 18 years. So that trust fund actually programs with a state of Florida entity, LSF, that's Lutheran Services, and that's actually who helps manage to make sure that the funds are spent in accordance with the requirements of that lawsuit. So locally, we actually started 3 programs. A 4th on year 2 was just a brief participation with the Hope Center and helping them with some transportation issues. But we started the Baker County Fire Rescue Paramedicine Program. That is an effort to help make some follow-up house visit calls with those people in the community who may have overdosed and were taken to the hospital and then are back home and in recovery. And that with that also, that paramedicine program also sees our citizens in their home for frequent callers to 911, people that may be elderly and live on their own. And may not have a caretaker that could come and check on them on a regular basis. So that program actually, from a fire rescue standpoint, is actually dual purpose. Like I said, it is to help those frequent 911 callers, but also to help those in the community who are struggling with addiction and in the recovery process. In addition to that, we actually have funded a position at the Baker Prevention Coalition. That is a peer specialist. A peer specialist is a specialized counselor who actually is in addiction recovery themselves. So a person who has suffered from addiction and recovered, gone through some type of treatment process, and then has proceeded to go through a certified counseling program. We find that, that studies show that the person that can talk peer to peer like that, that's lived it, that's went through those addictions and struggles, they can tend to get through to someone who's actively in a situation like that much better than the regular person that's not experienced that. Right? They know exactly the type of terminology to use because they themselves have suffered from that. And so this is year 3 of that position with the Baker Prevention Coalition. That is not a county staff person. We pay Baker Prevention and they hire that person directly. There are some monitoring things that have to go through Lutheran Services for all of these programs, and that is part of their reporting process about some of the patients that they see and those counseling sessions that they do. And last, we actually helped create a medicated assistant treatment program through Baker Medical Services. They call that the ROC program. Again, these are people who suffer from addiction, who have either gone through some type of emergency situation and ended up at the hospital, or they're through a referral system, most often with the Hope Center here in Baker County, someone that's referred them on. They're interested in recovery. And there's a lot of programs out there that specialize in helping you overcome addiction through some type of medication process, right? So that is overseen by a doctor. These people specialize in that. Again, this opioid funds that we're talking about tonight fully funds that program. So these are 3 programs that when we talked a couple years ago before we started receiving this money, there were some ways that Baker County could just put this back into its general fund and not use it for addiction services. But, Baker County had the forethought to think that we wanted to make some improvements in the community, right? We wanted to make sure that these funds went to programs that could help support people who wanted to get get out of those situations and hopefully make it through recovery. I just want to say, in part of this process also in year 2, the county actually funded a vehicle for the Hope Center, the van that you guys see that's parked out front. We actually purchased that for the Hope Center using these funds, and we also contributed to 1 year of fuel and 1 year of insurance costs when we bought that to help them get started on that program. And the Hope Center partners with all of these. They actually all work together. We talk quite frequently because it takes all of us. The people from the Hope Center, their volunteers use that van to drive people to some of these programs. They may have to go into Jacksonville and things like that. So all of these, although they are in different entities, they are very much involved with each other. Their clientele are all the same. They talk very frequently and work very well together. So it is time. They're on a different budget schedule than the county budget cycle. So it is time to submit our year 3 request to LSF. This year, the county's allocation totals $203,519. We have asked for the budget to be approved for the paramedicine program through Fire Rescue at $41,975. The Baker Prevention Coalition peer specialist position at $53,900, and the Baker Medical Services ROC program at $107,644. Again, these are all vetted programs. They are monitored annually through the LSF program. In fact, we have a virtual audit this Friday to go over all of those programs and their clientele that work through those lists as well. So again, there is lots of monitoring opportunities through this. So the staff has met with these 3 programs. They're very excited to continue into year 3. I think that it's made a difference tremendously in our community, especially the 22 people who are currently enrolled in the ROC program with Baker Medical Services are certainly receiving benefit that they would not get in our community without these funds. So if there's any specific questions, I'll be happy to answer that. But if there's nothing else, staff does recommend approval of the budget as submitted. Again, that total is $203,519.
Sarah, have you checked with the Hope Center to see if they needed any of those funds for
Yes, sir. We
more
have
of their
frequent.
band cost, or?
Yes, sir. We have
I mean,
had
I
frequent
hate to leave them
conversations.
out of some of those funding source.
Absolutely. We have had conversations with them. Again, we will reach out just to make sure. In addition to this, the county does get a small direct payment from a few pharmacies directly. That just goes into a savings fund to help supplement these in the future should we have any extra need. So if they do have a need, we can always present that back to you all from some of that savings money if we.
Yeah,
if
because I would
necessary.
like to see us continue to pay for the insurance and the gas.
Yeah, absolutely.
mean,
I can
of
reach out to
that
them to make
fund,
sure.
Yearly or whatever they need, because they do a lot of good things
Absolutely.
in this county.
Absolutely.
Lots.
When we had that conversation with them, they did have funding sources for that beyond the year, but I will certainly reach out to them to make sure that there's not a need that's not being met with them right now that we could consider. Yes, sir.
Any other comments from the board?
Make a motion to approve year 3 as submitted.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve year 3 opioid fund budget. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Moving on to prior business. Pending business report.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to call your attention to the 3 items that are highlighted in yellow. Those projects will be removed from this list after tonight. They are at 100% completion with all project closeout documents submitted and payment reimbursements made to the county. We have confirmed that with our finance department that those funds have been received. So the COA bus wash, the St. Mary's Cove boat ramp phase 2, and the Council on Aging Senior Life Enrichment Center. Those are 100% complete and closed out. We just wanted to make that report tonight before we remove those from our pending business report.
Why don't you take off phase 1?
Phase 1 has to remain because we actually have not gone through the closeout process because FWC still keeps that grant open until we reconstruct the boat ramp. FWC funded the construction of the boat ramp that Hurricane Debbie destroyed, and they actually require their staff to come do a site visit before that can be closed out, and they were not able to make that site visit down here before Hurricane Debbie hit 11 days after we finished. So unfortunately, we've submitted pictures and documentation. They are aware that the boat ramp was complete, but because they cannot complete that portion of their grant, the grant has been extended, and they will allow the reconstruction through the FEMA process to take the replacement of that boat ramp that was destroyed. So we will keep that one in a pending report until, like I said, we go through the FEMA process and we construct the new boat ramp, at which time they'll come out and they'll do their on-site visit, and then we'll start the closeout process. As far as that project goes, we have submitted all the documentation and pictures and everything else. Really, it's just that actual site visit that has to take place. So that item is showing at 100%, although maybe it's at 99. Maybe we need to taper that back a little bit since we're still holding on. Any other questions about the boat ramp? Moving down the list, we do not have any updates to Shoals Park at this time. We are fully staffed there with both gate attendants and our on-site camp host. We do have a project in place right now that staff are working on a grant application. We're just in the beginning phases of that, and once we get a little more information, we'll present that to you all for consideration. But that grant would provide some trail maintenance, some signage, and possibly some equipment as well. But we're working on a budget to develop that application, so more to come on that one. Kyler Fire Station, again, this one is still just holding on our pending business report due to the remaining project being bringing on staff members to the Kyler Fire Station and that mobile home for their living quarters. Again, we're holding this one at a 90% completion date until that time. Moving down our list into the NAB Sports Complex appropriation project, we actually talked about this 2 weeks ago. We hope to have the Little League members and our volunteer group before you all in the next couple of weeks or so, but phase 2 for that renovation is actually planned to begin for June 15th. That is the reconstruction of the concession stand and bathroom facilities, as well as a renovation to both the major and minor league baseball fields. And as just a quick reminder, also opening day is this Saturday morning at 9 a.m. And that will be held on the new quad if anyone is interested in attending.
Were they supposed to, I think they were coming April-ish
Yes.
to present, correct?
They are. That was kind of the loose schedule was sometime in April to present
Okay.
it to y'all, but definitely sometime before June 15th.
Gotcha.
Yes, sir. The courthouse generator appropriation project, again, we are very close to completion on this project. We were able to schedule the initial switch over to the entire building on April 11th, which is a Saturday. There was some original conversations about it being on a weekday. Commissioner Iverson made some phone calls for us and helped that process along, and we were able again to make that happen on a weekend so that there's no disruption to the building. Like I said, again, we've got that scheduled for the 11th, and then that project is very close to being closed out. The Sanderson Center, Mr. Moore, I started calling him Commissioner Moore. Mr. Moore presented to you all tonight. I didn't get a chance to say so earlier, but we appreciate him and his efforts that he's taken to coordinate all of those renovations to that building. It was one of the last ones really on our list that needed work. We've tried every budget year to tackle these county buildings that were really aging and needed repair. And the Sanderson Center was one that was so infrequently used, it was really at the bottom of the list. But with the work that's being done, I think that we're going to have a lot more interest. We've actually had a lot more phone calls about it lately. So we appreciate his efforts in doing that. And hopefully we can have a grand reopening ceremony out there pretty soon. And then the community development software, again, this is still just in a programming. They are working. We're making progress on that, on transferring how we do the existing system into the new system. So hopefully we'll have maybe some types of presentations that we can show you guys how that system works in the very near future. But again, it's still just with programming and the IT side on the developer's part.
Are we still waiting on ADP?
Yes, they are still doing programming on it.
How long have we been waiting on ADP at this point?
ADG.
ADG?
Yeah. 6 months probably in programming. Yeah. We're not entirely sure, but for some reason they had it on their system that it was on hold, and so we got that cleared up that there was no direction ever given that it was on hold. But
Yeah,
so they,
reaching out. I guess there was probably about 5 months that it was on hold, that they weren't doing any work.
yeah, it's been about 30 days or more now that they've been back working on. Actually,
Because
probably
they weren't doing any work?
correct.
What does that mean?
They had it in their system that we
Paused
yeah.
production, pretty much.
So why weren't we, I mean, why have we?
We were never given an answer.
Mm-mm.
We asked.
We're not sure where that direction came from. That was never clarified for us, but it didn't come from anyone on our end.
And
So have we made any headway in the last 30 days?
We have. So once they picked back up, and they've sent us some of what they had added for us to be able to look at and make sure that it's in line with what we had requested. So we've had some back and forth there.
So who's waiting on who now?
We are waiting on them still.
Yeah.
We're waiting on them at this point.
Yes, sir.
When was the last time we talked to them?
A week and a half ago, probably. Email from Samantha.
I talked to them.
Well, I'm just trying to find out
Yeah,
why
I talked
this
to them
thing
the
is
end of
still at
last
75%.
week. So they had sent over some stuff for us to look at,
Mhm.
to set up some more training. So we looked at it, we had a couple of comments, and now we're waiting to hear back again for them to be ready for the next step to give us some training.
What are we
So
still going back
they
and
have
forth
not-
with?
So it's kind of converted in sections, so like they started, converting our contractors and how we register contractors and things like that. We still, what we're waiting on now is for the actual permit, it's the permit portion itself to be ready, for us to actually be able to go in and do permits. They had to have all of our contractors, how we register contractors, how we, our permitting template, which permits require what documentation, and now they have all of that.
We need to see what we can do to get this thing off of this list and get it active and everything else. When did we pay for this? If we paid for this last year and we're still not being able to use it, that's crazy.
We paid for, by hour, so we pay for work done.
So we ain't paid for nothing
No, we
in
paid
6 months.
for.
No, we're not in 6 months, not during that time, no,
Yeah,
so we haven't
not
paid
in the
for
last
anything.
6 months.
Mhm.
We've paid at least 15,000 towards it.
Well, we need to make a big effort on getting that done because that's been on here for way too long.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, did we talk last meeting about following up with them like weekly or something maybe?
We did,
Okay.
and I did speak to them last week.
So we are doing that. We're following up with them every week. Okay.
Because I know we reached out to
So-
Brooklyn too. I know she had ADG contacts on trying to figure out why it was stagnant.
So I'll tell you.
It's a different team.
Just from talking, just from Clint and myself talking, they traditionally use a cloud-based software.
Okay.
And we have requested from the beginning that it not be a cloud-based software. They agreed to that in the beginning. I think that has been part of the struggle, is them providing what we need and it not be cloud-based.
Okay, so are we past that at that point, this point?
That's not something I can answer.
Do we know?
That's a.
I do not know, I'm
that's
sorry, I
a-
haven't had
that's
those
a-
conversations with ADG.
That's a,
Well, if
At least
ADG,
you
I
are-
mean, we're arguing about ADG at the moment anyways, it's on our server. So they should have access to be able
And they-
to, not have access, but they're
do.
not just totally
The
cloud-based.
servers and everything on our end are ready.
Right.
Everything on our end is ready.
So we're waiting on that and then we're waiting on the system to put the permits in play, is what I'm hearing.
Correct, and part of their initial request was to piggyback off the finance system, and we told them that was not acceptable, that those systems were
It needed to be
separate.
separate.
So
You
I
don't
think
want
that
your
they had to.
financial system
Right.
mixed with another system.
Okay.
So, but we made those requirements.
I'm not sure that their sales team talked to their programmers after they sold us what they said that they could
Yeah.
build, to be honest with you.
But that was the
And I think
two
it's taken them
biggest
longer,
things. We
yeah.
wanted it to be separate from
Mhm.
finance and not cloud-based.
Well, I know we talked about the
Right.
credit card fees and all this stuff that's going
Mhm.
to be integrated in the system, and we're
Mhm.
still sitting here stagnant on it.
Mhm.
We need to get this thing moving, whoever we got to call to get this thing
No, your
going.
credit card fees are already in place. All that's what
Well, I
we
mean,
use,
that
yeah.
was part of the discussion whenever we
Right.
did it,
It's
correct?
for them to be
Yeah.
able to do.
But like that
pay
stuff, I
online.
mean, we're,
Right, yeah, they can
but
pay
the whole
online.
system's still at 75% complete.
Absolutely.
We need to push it and get it across the finish line. Get
Absolutely.
it off the table, because we got
Oh,
a
we
lot
have-
of other things coming now that we don't need to be worried about a permit system
Mhm.
sitting here at our door whenever we got the brink of everything coming, as we seen tonight.
Absolutely.
So we've got to push on getting all that done now, because it's not if, it's when. And I mean, it's not if, or not when, but if, whatever.
Right.
It's at the door knocking, and we need to be prepared with the minimal staff that we have, because it's not like we have an abundance of staff.
Right.
We've got to be ready and fully engaged and using every resource that we have possible to get these things handled in a timely manner. And so we really need to push that, because whenever these developers come, they're here right now. We've got to be able to service everything in a timely manner.
Right.
And so this right here is going to help you service it in a timely manner. We got to push it across the finish line.
Absolutely. And I was speaking from staff, LaDon and Clint have done that. Like I said,
Okay.
getting a response from ADG has been difficult, but they most certainly have pushed.
We got to
on our
knock on
end.
their door, whatever we got to do. We just got to get this thing off the list.
Absolutely.
Who's our point of contact with ADG here in our office? Would that
Oh.
be Clint?
Well, for this project, both LaDonna and Clint, from a user standpoint, LaDonna has been a lot of the conversations there, but absolutely Clint from a programming standpoint, yes, sir.
Because obviously he can provide details
Mhm.
from the programming side that I can't.
Yeah.
So, he's been on one side, I've been the other, so.
Okay.
Expense reports over $5,000.
I have nothing to report on that unless you all have questions. Again, just for review.
American Rescue Plan 1 and 2.
No further updates on that as well, Mr. Chairman. Again, it's been working through the reconciliation process. The Finance Director, Brooklyn, is prepared to present you all with some budget amendments at our next commission meeting. And part of that process will be her talking about this fund. But again, we've talked about that in the last couple of meetings, that the fund has been cleaned up and the funds are there as expected. We're going to rework this spreadsheet a little bit since there's so much of this that's been closed out. We're just waiting for that process to take place first, and then I'll rework
For
this.
the budget amendment and everything with ARPA.
Yeah, and clean this up. Like I said, there's, 90% of these projects are closed out, and just give you all a report of the remaining items. But there's no updates to the report, so we have not changed that as of yet.
County Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do have one just comment. Our next meeting on April 7th does fall during the week of spring break. I know you all have travel plans, so I just want to make sure that we have a quorum and that we don't expect any issues and that we can meet as planned.
4/7, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I'm good.
Mr. Attorney.
Nothing, Mr. Chair, thank you.
Commissioner Hartley, were you good on that?
May not be
Okay.
on that date.
Well, as long as we don't have two of you or three of you that
Right.
says that you have plans, we'll
Will
be
you be here?
fine.
I'll be here.
Unless I missed my flight coming back, I'll be here.
Make sure you get on it.
If you have a flight.
See how that works out.
Have we heard from Commissioner Anderson? Do we know his availability?
He should be available that week.
Okay.
Commissioner Mobley.
Blue Hole Road was one I wanted to talk about real quick. I know there's I've got some calls. It's a improved, it's not a paved road, it's an improved road in my district. And we went in and we milled it, and we put the millings down, watered it, and however, after, we didn't add enough millings. Millings were hard to come by at the time. We haven't got we haven't been able to get it and acquire the millings right now to come back and put them in place.
Correct.
So what we've done is we pulled the ditches and we added a little bit of dirt in there now to hopefully smooth out the potholes. But I do want to state that we're not making it a dirt road. We're not going backwards from an improved road
Right.
to a dirt road. We're waiting right now on the millings to get available to come rework it, redress it, water it, the whole 9 yards to improve that road back to hopefully better than what it was, right? And we definitely don't want to take a step back. That was one of the things, I know there was a lot of questions about it. I just wanted to address those questions tonight. The only other thing I got two things, I'm sorry. Opening day, wanted to hit that. Little League opening day is Saturday. Opening ceremony should be at 9 o'clock. It's always a good event. I know there's gonna be a ton of vendors out there at the NAB Sports Complex on the new improved quads. Got a lot of vendors, a lot of people. If y'all get a chance, come out. T-ball Wildcats play that day. So
Get there early and find a parking place.
get there early, that's
Somebody
right.
drop you off, yeah.
Also looking forward to our county finance director, Brooklyn, coming next week, or next meeting. She'll be presenting the amendments.
Yeah.
So looking forward to that.
Absolutely. She's done a good
Yep.
job.
Commissioner Iverson.
I only have a quick few things. The first thing I want to give a shout out to our road department. I went and spent an hour or so at the road department today, and I just want to acknowledge them. We're quick to call and complain whenever when the trash is not right, or the potholes are a little too deep or a little too often, or the road's not mowed. But these fellas are doing a good job, and we have some really good people on that team. And I just honestly just wanted to tell them good job publicly, that they keep up the good work and that they're doing a good job. and I appreciate them. This board appreciates them, and I just wanted to give a shout out to them. Secondly, Miss Remy is our, what is her official title?
She's our projects manager.
She's rocking it. Okay, she sent out her spreadsheet this week, and I just want to commend her. It looked nice, it was organized, and I feel like some of the issues we have experienced in the past will be deterred by this, will be mitigated by this spreadsheet. I thought she did a really good job, and I just wanted to tell Miss Remy that we appreciate her very much also. And my last thing is, I was curious, do we know the status of the survey that was necessary and required for the impact fee implementation?
Yes, sir, I can answer that. So the county has to engage with a legal firm, Bryant Miller Olive, to actually start that process. Bless you. And we have been in communication with them. However, they have not provided their contract back to us. So we have gotten all the proposals from the sub-consultants, company name is Stantec. So Bryant Miller Olive technically hires Stantec. And that's the way that we are able to go through that process without going out for a formal RFP, because Florida statutes allows you to engage directly with a law firm without going through a solicitation process. So we have to, that last leg of that process is to get that contract from Bryant Miller Olive. And so I have reached out to them a couple of times to remind them that we are waiting on that. They did share with us when we started this process that their schedule was very full. However, it's taken longer than we anticipated. So Stantec also has communicated that with them for me, that's the last piece that we need. So it is my goal to have that to you all before the end of April, because we are running out of time for that process to take place for this fiscal year.
Are you still talking to Chris?
Chris Rowe, yes.
Okay, I'll reach out to him.
So they're not doing the work, they're just contracting with us for Santec to do the work.
They do part of the legal work, absolutely, but Stantec
Right.
does the data collection.
Right,
yes.
but we have not even started the data collection process.
No, sir, we
Giving
have
them
not.
what we need.
No,
what they
sir, we
need.
have not. We cannot start that process until we engage with Bryant Miller Olive first.
So we have to be careful about that. So the law changed 2 years ago, where from the point we engage, we only have 12 months to either approve or deny the implementation impact fee. So we don't want them to start that work until kind of our ducks are in a row. But I'll reach out to.
But it sounds like it's not our ducks need to get in a row though. Right?
I'm surprised. Like I said, let me
Not from my
reach out to him.
perspective, no, sir.
Yeah, at what point do we move on to the next, or is there a next to move on to?
There are, cost-wise, from working different places, there's a significant disparity in cost on what's out there.
Does that cost offset the lack of being able to implement the impact fee, though, would be the question?
I got you. Let me reach out to the lawyer we've worked with before.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. Glad you asked. I forgot about it. I was going to ask myself.
I mean, if a lawyer's $100,000 more, how many hundreds of thousands will we lose in impact fees that this county desperately needs?
That's a legitimate question.
I agree.
Anything else?
I think that's it.
Commissioner Hartley?
I just have a question on council on aging. Did we get did Commissioner Anderson meet, do you know, and get some of those things fixed or whatever
So we
whatever
did
we
meet-
need to do?
Yes, sir. We did meet out at the COA facility last week. And we compiled a list of outstanding items. There was not many. Honestly, most of it relates back to HVAC issues. I mean, there's a door that needs to be worked on, and a sink in one of the bathrooms needs to be worked on. There was some minor things, but most of the issues that they're asking about were specific to the HVAC system that we've having issues with. So we actually did send that. I sent that to the contractor last week and asked them to sign and acknowledge each problem existed, and also sign and acknowledge what the resolution to that problem was. There are a few of those items that are on the list that the contractor believes has already been resolved, but the council and agent staff may not be aware of that. So we did ask for some written documentation to show what that resolution was and asked them to sign for it. So we did send that. They acknowledged that they were in receipt of that, but the owner of the company was out of the office a few days last week, and then their job superintendent actually lost his father last week. And so he was out for that and for the funeral. And so they did have an issue last Thursday, again, with one of the same unit. I think it's Unit 2 that they have issues with constantly, but they were able to get the contractor out that same day to get it resolved. So they are making an effort very quickly, in my opinion, to try to address those issues, but obviously we've got an underlying issue that needs to be resolved before the warranty period runs out.
Right.
So yes, sir, we did meet, and like I said, we're working through those issues.
Okay, one more thing, Ag Center.
Yes, sir.
Are they complete?
The auditorium, yes, sir, is complete. The only outstanding item in there was in the classroom. The 4-H classroom had some work to be done, but yes, sir, the auditorium is final.
Is it going to be finished soon?
I don't know what the
acting like
timeline on the closet was, but it was very short. That was a custom closet that was being built because of storage for the 4-H. And that was about the only item. There were some double doors that needed to be installed and
Right.
painted, and those were done a week and a half ago. So yes, sir, it should be very close to completion. So the closet was the only outstanding item.
So it's ready to rent
Yes, sir.
for graduation or
Yes, sir.
anything?
They're taking bookings on.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
that's all I have. Thank you.
I got a couple of things. To dovetail off Commissioner Hartley's, I'm concerned about, we do these big projects, the Council on Aging, the fire stations, and the warranty work that we're seeing after the fact is pathetic. We have to call time and time and time again for the same problem over and over at different places, and we're not getting resolution, and now we're dragging toward the end of those warranty periods. I'm not satisfied with the contractors that we're using that don't offer the warranty service that they're sold us to begin with. I'm not happy with that. So that's just an observation on my part. I don't have any resolution for it, but don't see us in a favorable position with these warranty people not fixing the problems that they created. The other thing I have is Water First North Florida. There will be a meeting in Live Oak Thursday around 6 o'clock at Swanee River Water Management, and they will be discussing plumbing water from Jacksonville, 4 million gallons a day, 4 million gallons a day, into the Swanee River Basin. Treated sewage water. Swanee County's issued a letter opposing it. Columbia County's issued a letter opposing it, and Union County is going to oppose it. They hadn't settled on a site where they're going to dump all this water, but they're going to dump water somewhere, a bunch of it. And once they start, it's going to happen more and more, and part of that's got to come through Baker County. Part of our district, part of Baker County is in Swanee River Water Management District. So it does affect us. So I'd like to see us discuss that in our next meeting, and I would like to see us join with Swanee County and Columbia County and other neighboring counties in opposing that pipeline, especially with the limited information that we're getting. We heard this stuff from the back door. We didn't get contacted and say, this is what they're doing. There's state legislation that's going to allow this. So we may not can do anything to fix the problem, but it's coming. And if they can dump their sewage water in Swanee County, they can dump it here too. So I'd just like to see the county consider what's happening there. We got representatives that hope to be at the meeting Thursday to find out more information from the county and the city. So hopefully we'll get more information, and at our meeting in April, we'll be able to discuss it more. But I'm very concerned about that, and I do want to support our neighboring counties in resisting that effort as much as we can. So that's all I have. Anything else from the board?
Make a motion to adjourn.
We're adjourned.